Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about Rat Queens Volume 1, Sass and Sorcery. But before that, it's time for... Regular listeners will know what's coming. But if you're new, this is a first time listener, get ready. It's time for Catching Up with Ellie and Liam.
You just like putting that little bit of excitement into the episode, even though all our listeners are like, yeah.
Yeah, we know what's coming. Yeah. This is... pretty standard.
Yep, cool.
So yeah, it's just a part of the show where we just catch up with each other really and find out what's been happening since we last recorded.
Yep, works for me, Liam, works for me.
So, catch me up.
Liam, I've done a lot of stuff, which is unusual because usually I do no stuff.
Yeah, that's true. You've been very busy.
I have. I went to a 1-day music festival. Well, the festival wasn't 1 day, but I went to 1 day of a music festival.
Yeah, what festival?
It was called All Points East, and it's up in London.
Why is it called that?
It's called that because... I don't know, Liam. Because everywhere points east, Liam.
Does it?
Or, all the points on the compass are east.
That's...
all points east.
That's not how a compass works.
No, I don't know why it's called that, Liam. It's a weird name.
Yeah, it is. No, but it's like Reading Festival. I get it, because it's in Reading.
I genuinely thought you were going to say it's like Reading Festival. That's a silly name and makes no sense.
No, I'm saying so I get like Glastonbury. I get why they've called it that.
Isle of Wight Festival.
Those all make sense.
Download?
Yeah, why is that called Download?
Yeah, there we go.
No, but I mean, there's got to be a reason, right?
Because they download it.
What's the one in America that I really wanted to go to when I was a little punk emo teenager?
Coachella?
No. Sorry, say that again?
Coachella?
It's Coachella.
He's not wrong, listeners.
No, I was thinking of Warped Tour.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when I was a little what is it?
Kid is the word you're looking for.
No, but little pop punk Liam. You wanted to go to that?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so sorry. All Points East. Who was playing? Who did you see?
We went because the Strokes were headlining.
Okay, yeah.
I assume you know who the Strokes are.
I do, and I know some of their songs, but I can't tell you the names of them.
Yeah, you'd know stuff like Reptilia, and there's a song called Juicebox that you would probably know if you heard it.
I'm sure they've had stuff that's been used in adverts and stuff that I've probably heard as well.
Probably, yeah. They're a very famous band. It's the first time they've toured the UK in I think it was 5 years.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool to go see them.
I thought they were a UK band, but I guess not.
No, they're American.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know them that well.
No,
I'm just looking up now. The Strokes songs. You Only Live Once. I don't know that one. Last Night. I know that one.
You probably would know a lot of these songs if you heard them. It's that kind of band, I think.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I would know the songs and know the names, but
Last Night used to be on the Kerrang music channel when I used to watch that as a teenager.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, they're a big band. So yeah, we went to see them. It was pretty fucking cool. We got my dad bought the tickets ages ago, and went to print them off the week in the build up, and when he logged onto the site, it said you have no tickets to print. So he was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
What's happened? He had the receipt, all the email stuff saying he'd bought the tickets, but there was the site wouldn't let him print off his tickets.
Yeah.
So he ended up calling them, the company that were running it, and the lady was like, "Yeah, I can see that you've paid for tickets, and I can also see that there's nothing for you to print off. So we're just going to upgrade you for free to VIP."
Well,
so we got
why not
free upgrade. So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It was cool to get as a freebie because it was basically you got your own little area that you could go to in between sets.
Yeah.
And it had its own bar and its own food, and it was all very it was just a nice area you could go chill out in instead of being in the throng of people.
Yeah.
The ticket price was double that of the normal tickets, and that is insane because that's all you'll get paying for, and you're paying double the price.
That is. So, were there any other cool people in the VIP area?
Yeah, we saw. Well, my brother saw Alfie Allen, who plays Theon in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
My brother was slightly late to the gig, so he was going in by himself through the VIP entrance,
yeah.
and he was standing next to this guy, and he said looked at him and was like, "That looks a bit like Alfie Allen," and then he was standing there and he was trying to sort of get a proper look, and eventually I think he said he looked at his teeth because he knew that Alfie Allen has a little gap in his teeth or something.
Okay.
So and then he went, "Oh shit, that is Alfie Allen." So he went, are you Alfie Allen? And apparently, Alfie Allen just went, fuck this, and ran up the VIP line, pushing past people who were like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
To get away from my brother. Which annoyed my brother somewhat.
Wait, so literally just asking the question, are you Alfie Allen, caused Alfie Allen to
run away.
Run away.
Yes. Now, I kind of get it. Because if you're Alfie Allen, and you've just finished Game of Thrones Season 6, and you're like, I really want to just go to a festival and not be swamped by people being like, it's Theon.
Yeah.
Where's your penis, Reek?
But like,
I get it.
No, right, I get it, but like the way I'd look at this, right, if I was Alfie Allen, for example, I'd give people more of a chance than just, are you Alfie Allen? Because I might either deny it, say no, and then if they insist, then I run away, or I go, yeah, I am. Now, some people might just drop it. Some people might go, big fan of your work, leave it there. If the person then starts like grilling you and being like, oh, so tell me about all these things, then I run away. But just running away at that first question seems premature.
No, you are right, but I don't know. I got it, but
okay,
I can also see the counterpoint.
Yeah,
I still think it's a kind of a douche move for a celebrity to do it, but I can see why they would do it.
Yeah, because for me, like, if I was to ever approach a celebrity that I liked, it would only ever be to just say to them, like, big fan of your work or something like that. I wouldn't expect to have, like, a conversation with them or anything. It would just be like, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. Let's end it there.
Okay.
Like, because
I want that
equally...
to be the thing you say to them.
Yeah, because, like, I'm respectful of their time as well.
Hi, Ellen Page. I just want you to know I appreciate you, but let's leave it there. And then you walk away.
This me and you thing ain't gonna work.
Done.
I had a big crush on you for a long
Page.
time, and you've ruined it. Let's just leave it there.
But yeah, so like there was there were some celebrities there, and we saw like a few people from because the band area, like where they hang out, is behind the VIP area.
Yeah,
and we think if they wanted to go into the actual thing to watch a set, which most of them wouldn't.
Yeah.
But we did see a few bands who then had to like walk through the VIP area to go out to the main area.
Yeah.
So like you saw a couple of like musicians that you'd seen, and it was like, oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
But they had the Raconteurs opening for them, who
I've heard
probably
of.
know. Yeah,
Go on.
You'd know their what's the main song? Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Steady as She Goes.
How's that go?
Steady as she goes, dun dun.
Okay, yeah.
Dun. That song.
Yeah.
That's like their main song that you would know. But they've got Jack White, who's the guitarist for them, and one of the singers, and that's fucking cool to see Jack White on stage.
Yeah.
Liam is from the White Stripes.
I knew that, and wasn't he in something else?
He had a solo career.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And he was in the Raconteurs.
I thought he was in something else as well.
He probably is.
Yeah, he seems...
But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, so the White Stripes, were they related, or was that just like a gimmick?
I think it was his wife.
Oh, really? I thought they were like siblings.
I think the whole thing was that no one knew what they were, but I think it was his wife, Meg White. I think. I may be getting that wrong, but I know that there was a whole thing where it was like, aren't they brother and sister? And then other people were like, aren't they a couple? Right. And then no one could figure it out.
Okay. So I'm not wrong for not knowing that. It is a mystery.
Oh, no. I think it was a whole thing back in the day when like it was deliberately weird and confusing.
Cool. All right.
But so that was fucking cool. And then the Strokes just were amazing.
Yeah.
Because you know a lot of the songs and you're like, oh, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I had to do my usual where we were in like the front of the arena, and within about 2 songs I was like, cool, I'm going to lead the crowd because I hate being shoved.
Yeah, that happens at those sort of things, don't it?
Which I get, and I never do it in like I want people to come with me. I'm always like, no, you guys stay and enjoy the gig. I just know I won't enjoy it if I'm surrounded by people being crushed.
Yeah.
Because I just get all stressed out and weirded out by it.
Does your dad enjoy that sort of thing?
My dad is one of the people that does the shoving.
I find that so easy to believe.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. When I get to the second gig, Liam, that will become more apparent.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, so we did that. That was very good. And then the week after, we saw Muse, which...
Oh no, then they did that song that I like called Plug-in Baby.
Yep. So the Strokes were fucking cool.
Yeah.
Muse is one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
What made it so good?
They put so much effort into their show. Like, before they were playing... Like, the opening acts were really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it was this band we hadn't really heard of, but they were like this cool indie rock... it was a female lead singer and a band, and they were really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like their music. Then you had Tom Morello, who's the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And Audio Slave. Like, he's been in a lot of bands and he's amazing. Like, watching him play guitar is mind-blowing. And then also the whole time he's putting, like, political messages up on the board behind him.
Okay.
At one point, he flipped his guitar around to play it with his teeth, and for the whole gig, he had just had an A4 sheet of paper sellotaped to the back that said, "Fuck Farage."
Okay.
And we were like, oh, this guy's really fucking cool.
Yeah. But like, is he British?
No, but he's huge. He's a huge political left.
Because I was going to say,
person.
like, how much of that, like, whenever someone like from America comes over and then they're like doing political messages for the UK politics,
No.
it's like how much of it is pandering?
He's full on like Antifa,
Okay.
the anti-fascist movement.
Yeah.
That are like, we should beat up Nazis. He's like basically that.
Okay.
He got on a bunch of activists. He at the end for one of the Rage Against the Machine songs, because he plays songs from all the bands he's been in. He was like, "Oh, I'm just getting up this choir of activists," and instead of a choir, it was just all these people that were from like political movements within England, like body autonomy activists and all this stuff, which was fucking cool. And they just danced to Rage Against the Machine on stage with Tom Morello, and I was like, "Oh, Tom Morello's like actually hunted down like activists to bring on stage," which is quite cool.
Okay.
But so that was all cool. But then Muse come out, and we're standing there in between Tom Morello and Muse, looking up what people had been saying, and people were like, "Oh, it's pretty insane, the gig." They spoke to the band, and the band were like, "We think we might have gone too far with this one." And you're like, "Oh, okay, they're probably building it up a bit."
Yeah.
But then as you're reading through, you're like, "Okay, well, it says they've got lasers, obviously.
Yeah.
It says they've got giant robots.
Okay.
That's kind of weird. A marching band. Okay, it's getting a little bit out there." And then just like this list just went on and on of shit they had in this show.
Yeah.
So they started, and a marching band come out, dressed in robotic outfits with full visors that are like, I can't remember what they had on it. It was like faces, but like on these big robot visors.
Were they like LED visors?
Yeah, like an LED screen on their face.
Yeah.
The band come out, and the lead singer... Oh my god, I'm blanking on the lead singer of Muse's
Matt
name.
something, isn't it?
Yes, Matt... Whatever. The lead singer came out with LED glasses...
Right.
That were playing like cool patterns over them. For like 5 songs he wore them.
Yeah.
Then they had a screen. I've honestly never seen a screen as big as the screen Muse had behind them. It was mind-blowing.
Okay.
And it was super detailed, and playing all these like crazy detailed animations
Matt
to go
Bellamy.
with the songs. Matt Bellamy, yeah. At one point, members from that band, they'd all gone off stage. Then suddenly they came up the screen, literally like walking on the screen on ropes.
Right.
Did a whole choreographed dance while abseiling, and we were just standing there like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
They had just all these insane things going on, and then towards the end, I was like, I'm waiting for the giant fucking robot. I've been promised a giant robot. I want a giant robot. So some of the dancers came out, and they were wearing these robot suits that it was like the suit went up their body.
Yeah.
And then where their head was like the torso of the robot.
Right.
And then above them was like this, arms, chest, and head, which moved with their arms. It was like mirroring their movements. And I was like, oh, okay, they're big.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it a giant robot, but okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then the next song, a giant inflatable robot came from behind the stage, which dwarfed all the members of the band, was this insanely detailed inflatable like cyborg monster thing, and then just stayed behind them, and it moved around. It was honestly mind-blowing. I was just standing there like, I like Muse. Muse are fine.
Yeah.
I don't love them.
Yeah.
But they are one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Yeah, they
I would say
put
to
on
anyone
like
now,
a show, right? By the sounds of it.
Yeah, and it had like a whole running story. Like
Okay.
all the songs, like vague, not like a detailed one, but like there was a story going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just mind-blowing.
I
The amount of effort they've put into this.
I think like if you're going to do like a stadium tour, which I'm assuming is what this is,
Yeah.
then that is the sort of level of effort that I would want to see.
But that's not the sort of effort people
No,
do.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Classic rock bands had the big inflatables and stuff, like Pink Floyd
Yeah.
and the giant floating pig and stuff.
Yeah.
But this was beyond that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like
This was just insane.
because I know that some probably like bands, they do a stadium tour and all you'd get is like a laser show or something, and they'd be like, that's enough. And it's I think when you go to see live music, you want one of two experiences. You either want that where the band is going to go like all out and put on like an extravagant show, or you'd want the opposite where it's a more intimate type of thing and it's just them playing good music. But you wouldn't want that in a stadium setting. You'd want that in a smaller venue.
No. You're totally, completely wrong. Because my favourite live band of all time is Foo Fighters, who do not do a giant robot laser show and yet are the best live band ever.
But what makes them so good?
They play amazing music, and Dave Grohl is an amazing frontman who talks to the audience and gets you all like feeling the excitement. You probably don't get it as much because you aren't as big a music fan as me.
No.
But you definitely, no one is going to stadium tours being like, I hope this is a giant laser show with a giant robot. That's because that's not standard and no one's doing it. Yeah. So you wouldn't be like, I'm guessing that Kasabian are going to do a laser show with giant robots. I wouldn't go and see
Kasabian do a stadium tour.
No, who would you go and see, Liam?
Okay, so, and again, I don't think they'd have done it. But who did you say?
I said Taylor Swift, obviously.
Yeah, and you know you're going to get a good show with that.
Yeah, but probably not giant robots.
No, obviously. I mean, the giant robots.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be if we went to see Taylor Swift and she did like this end of the world cyborgs taking over show?
I think she had like a giant like snake or something at her last one at the Reputation tour.
Was that?
I think so.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'd see on a stadium tour.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't put on like a crazy show around it because you're going to see. That's what I mean.
Iron Maiden,
because Iron Maiden, yeah, but they're not like around anymore. But they have like a big set. I thought
they were still going.
Are they still touring? They might be.
I thought they were. I could be wrong.
Or maybe. But they'd have like a really cool set, and then stuff would happen during, like, as in like the actual layout of the set. Yeah. Like there'd be the giant
like,
tomb.
From the sound of it, like Muse have definitely elevated it to a crazy level.
Muse was like every 3 songs the entire stage changed and was this whole other thing.
Yeah.
So that was insane.
But then, so was Muse the one where your dad got pushy?
Yeah. My dad gets far too excited in these things. I think it was in Tom Morello where Tom Morello said, "Everyone jump and raise your hands."
Yeah.
And my dad pushed through a bunch of people to get towards the front, and then came back to us and went, "Oh, the people up the front were a bit miserable." And I went, "All right, why?" And he went, "Well, they just weren't jumping." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I know my dad, so I'm guessing that he was probably a bit too jumpy,
yeah,
and people around him were maybe annoyed."
Yeah.
But I was like, "I won't say anything. I didn't see it. I've got no evidence." Yeah. In Muse, there was a point where he ran forward 3 people,
yeah,
jumped around a lot, then came back to us, jumped around a lot and shoved me.
Yeah.
And then I turned to him and very loudly said, "If you can't jump in a fucking straight line, stop fucking jumping." And then all the people we were with were chuckling.
Yeah.
And later on my dad was like, "You were really mean to me." And I was like, "You can't jump in gigs. You're a nightmare."
That's fair. Yeah, I think I'd probably be a bit like you, where I'd want to go to see the music. I wouldn't necessarily want to go to just like jump and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get into the music and I'll like sit there bopping along.
Yeah.
But
wait, sit there? I thought you stood in these sort of things.
Sorry, stand there. Yeah.
Because I know like some of the
you can go seating.
Yeah.
There is a whole yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
No, seating is weird. So I get why some people like seating, because if you're like completely anti the crowd,
yeah,
and you're like, I just want to sit down and enjoy some music, I get seating.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to do it if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like the crowd, I'd still be like, well, I want to be in the like close to it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's when people start getting shovey. It's like, to be fair, a lot of places now do like a front pit, which is like a closed off area, which has, I think, like 90% of the gigs we've gone to, if you get there early enough and you go to the front pit, they're giving out wristbands, and then at a certain point the wristbands run out and they're like, yep, that's the capacity. So usually the front pit is not empty, but like not crushed.
Yeah.
Everyone's not rammed in together.
Yeah.
And if you look behind you, the back of the front pit is like everyone squished up against the bars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that area I couldn't be in, but the front pit I can actually do fine.
Yeah.
Because loads of people don't realise it's a thing, and it's actually quite good.
Okay, makes sense.
But yeah, so yeah, it was like a fucking amazing show.
Yeah. Okay. See, I liked Plug In Baby from Muse, and then they, like, when I was a teenager, they brought out a CD that everyone seemed to go crazy for that I just never really got into.
Trying to remember what the order of their things was, but I can't.
No, I can't.
They played Knights of Sidonia as the last song, and I love that song.
Which one?
Knights of Sidonia.
I only know that because of Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to hang on. Absolution was the one that I just didn't get into.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the stuff they played, like, I knew every song, and I don't listen to Muse that much.
Yeah.
So I think they know the stuff that everyone knows.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they played one song off the first album that I was like, I don't know this song.
Yeah.
But even then, you were like, it's a good song. I just don't know it. Very cool. What have you been up to, Liam?
Is that all you've done? I thought you had loads.
No, there's more, but, you know, we've done 20 minutes, and we do this thing where this show has, like, can't be 3 hours every episode.
Yeah, only guest ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What have you been up to with your week off?
Yeah, I took a week off work. It was so good.
Are you ready, listeners? All the exciting stuff Liam's done with his free time.
I basically did nothing. It was so good though.
Lovely.
Like
that sounded sarcastic. I did actually mean lovely because I love having a week off.
I shut down my work laptop on like the Friday night, and I've got like an app on my phone which is like essentially Slack, but for work, right? Like we have our own version of that essentially. I deleted that off my phone and just didn't think about.
You could probably have just muted it.
Yeah, no, I know, but the problem is I know I would just check it. Even though I wouldn't want to, like, I just want to see if people were messaging me, and then I'd feel like, oh, what are they saying? Because you wouldn't be able to see what they're saying. You have to then click on the person, and then they can see that you've read it and all this sort of thing. I don't want to deal with any of that, so I just deleted it off, and I just didn't think about work for like a solid week, and I just felt so good. Like as soon as that Friday night came, and I shut down my work laptop and deleted this app off, this like weight just lifted. And I don't even have like a particularly like stressful job. Like
no,
I've got like responsibilities and shit, but like
yeah,
it was just so nice not having to think about any of it. And all I did with my week, I built a bookcase, I sorted out some of my bookcases, and then I just played video games and watched movies.
Yeah,
that was it. It was so good. Like
how did Kat find your week off? Because you both work from home a fair amount.
Yeah,
and everyone who listens to this show knows what you're like.
Yeah, no, she was fine because I got into the habit of like staying up till like 5 a.m. and then sleeping till like midday. So she got a solid morning of work done before I'd wake up. And then to be honest, I'd go in, say like hello, and then go down into my little cinema room, and she wouldn't see me until she'd finished work.
Fair enough.
Like I honestly I went to the gym once in that entire week, and then just sat on my ass for.
Nice.
Oh, it was honestly like. And then I get back to work, and obviously the app that I deleted off of my phone, I did have like about 10 people had sent me a message like during the week of like, oh, can you answer this question? I was like, not that week I couldn't.
No, you should. Like works try and do that thing where they're like, you need to be accessible at all times, but no, that's fucking bullshit. If you're on holiday, you're on fucking holiday.
Like when I got back, people were understanding that I was on like holiday. Yeah. But the thing that was annoying is everyone was like, oh, so where did you go? And like people didn't really get that I took a week off and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you had a staycation.
Yeah, and it was honestly, I can't remember the last time I felt so relaxed. And I think it was not only because like the work thing, but also because I didn't have stuff on.
Yeah.
Like the last time I took any time off work was when I went to Austria skiing. That was not relaxing. Before that, it would have been like Christmas. And Christmas, you've got all like the family obligations and stuff. So it's never like super relaxing of just I'm doing exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. Time before that I had off was when we went to Dubrovnik, which was nice, but it wasn't like as relaxing as this week was. It was just, I think it's probably been a solid like 2 years since I felt that relaxed. So I need to have another week off like that, I think.
I had it, I did it last year when I had holiday left to take, and I was like, there's nothing coming up before Christmas, so I'm just going to take a week off.
Yeah.
And it is legitimately some of the best things you can do. You can just like, I don't have to worry.
Yeah. And the thing that's like not annoying, but like I had like a mental list of things that I would have liked to have done, and I got around to doing some of them, but I was also like, oh, if I could have just had another like week or two off, because there was still like, even though I didn't really do a lot, there were still things that I wanted to do that I didn't get around to doing. Yeah. Like, and it's not like work things, it's things I want to do. It's just video games dominated a lot of this week. There was like some TV shows that I wanted to catch up on, and like some writing that I wanted to do, like little things like that, you know, if I didn't have to work, I know that I wouldn't get bored. Because some people are like,
you might eventually, Liam.
I've got like over 1,000 films to watch. What you just
described there was I'd need like an extra week to do those things. What would you have done if that was then 3 weeks, but you'd done it all in week 2.
Honestly, I know that I'd find stuff to do.
I feel like eventually you would get bored, but I think it would take a while.
I don't know though.
Because you must have had that experience, because I think everyone has had it, where you are off for a certain amount of time, and then you're like, not I want to go back to work, but you'll have a day where you're like, I could play this game, but I've been playing that quite a lot recently, so I'm not really feeling it. And then you're like, yeah, there's stuff I could watch, but I'm not in the mood for any of it. And then you're like, oh shit, what do I do?
I didn't get that this week that I had off.
No, probably not in a week off.
No.
I wouldn't imagine.
The thing is, there is always stuff for me to do. Like,
I guess maybe it's one of the advantages of being sort of, I don't know how to phrase this nicely, but a child trapped in a man's body.
Yeah.
I guess it's sort of, you can just be amazed by anything.
Yeah.
Like, Kat could just get you a pack of crayons and you'd be fine.
Yeah, or like, I'd want a colouring in book to go with it. I can't just do drawing, freestyle. I'm not like that.
No.
But, yeah.
That's too unstructured. You're a child in a man's body, but you like a bit of all.
Yeah. I like a good list to work through, don't I? But yeah, I mean, I honestly, just knowing the way I am, know that I don't get bored. If I'm left to my own devices. If I'm being forced to do stuff I don't want to do, I get bored very quickly. But if someone's just like, here's a television, here's a stack of games, a stack of films, and a stack of TV shows and some books, I'm like, cool.
Do you reckon, who's that guy? Do you remember that film, was it Aviator? Where the guy, becomes, stays in his house and slowly goes insane and basically becomes like this recluse. That's it, a recluse.
Is it A Beautiful Mind? I haven't seen it.
No, I think there's a film called Aviator, which is about a real guy that did it, and it was like his story. It's not a very good film. I remember finding it very boring.
Aviator sounds like a flying thing.
I think he...
Was he a pilot?
What was the story? I think he was either a pilot... He was something where he got really rich.
Okay, yeah.
But then, he became a recluse and, lived in this small room and pissed in bottles and stuff. It was... it got real dark.
Yeah.
He went full recluse.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they... I imagine they're the kind of people that are like, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with a month off work because I wouldn't be bored. So I do wonder if you would just slowly become a recluse.
The thing
without
is,
you noticing.
I've always got things like little projects in my mind that I want to do.
Yeah, like pissing in bottles.
If I had time, not that, but if I'd have had
making sure that the outside world can't get to you. Yeah, I get it.
If I'd have had more time off, I spent some of the time editing more YouTube videos for the podcast and stuff like that. So yeah. There were things, it wasn't all fun and roses. There were things I did that were sort of work in quotation marks, but work that I wanted to do. Yeah, and I think if I didn't have to do work to make money, I would...
I guess that's the thing, right? It's not that you'd be fine not doing work, but you'd be fine because you could find yourself, you could do something you wanted to do that would be air quotes work.
Yeah, editing, if I'd had more time editing the Liam's Got Goosebumps or Liam's Got Point Horror, I would have done that, or finishing that fucking erotica that I started writing and I really need to finish, things like that aren't not working but I'm not getting paid to do.
I don't know if the erotica counts as working at all.
I mean, I am planning on self-publishing it if it ever gets finished, so
okay,
that's a big if though. But yeah, honestly, it was a beautiful week off.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, went to cinema a lot though.
Yeah,
which leads us nicely onto...
I was going to say, that was either a really good segue or really bad if you hadn't segued into it.
A really good one. Liam and Ellie went to cinema, and now it's time for their spoiler-free review of the things that they saw at the cinema and whatever other stuff they've done as well, I guess.
Yeah, smooth.
Thanks. We've both done a lot of cinema stuff, haven't we?
Yeah, we've both had to trim down to the 3 that we'll do on the podcast, which is... I don't know if that's ever happened before, where both of us have gone over the limit.
No, so what are you not covering this time?
I'm not covering John Wick 2, because I saw it for the first time.
Okay.
I'm not covering Godzilla, because we're doing maybe an episode on it that you'll find out about if you keep listening to this episode.
Yeah.
I think that puts me up to the 5, so that's the 5.
How's your reading going?
I'm 30% through the second Brimstone Angels book.
Okay.
I picked that up the other day and was like, I'm going to start reading this again.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, it's going.
Cool. What film do you want to discuss first? Do you want to do the one we've both done?
Yes.
That is John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you saw John Wick 2 for the first time. What?
Yes. I saw John Wick 1 ages ago and loved it.
Yeah.
Was like, this is just a really good film.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just never got round to watching John Wick 2.
Yeah.
And then the other week, I was like, I really want to see John Wick 3 in the cinema.
Yeah.
And to do that, I need to watch John Wick 2. So I literally just sat down, rented it on Amazon, and then immediately went out to see John Wick 3.
Yeah. Okay. What did you think of John Wick 3?
I really enjoyed it because it's John Wick. And I think if you went in and didn't enjoy it, it's because you went in expecting something that wasn't the John Wick trilogy.
Yeah, like, it is more John Wick, is essentially what it is.
Yeah. It's literally, do you want to see more John Wick? Yes. Okay, this is the film for you, because it's just more John Wick.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the first John Wick. And then the second John Wick I thought was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, I'd say, is better than the second, but not as good as the first.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think the first is probably the best.
So the issue I had with the third... Well, first, the things that I like how, from the first film, they have managed to spin up this whole, like, mythology around the world that he's in.
Yeah, because John Wick 1, like...
It touches on it, but not... Like, you have, like, the Continental
so
and
barely,
stuff.
doesn't
But,
it? It's just, like, he used to be an assassin and people being like, oh, he's the bogeyman.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 was, like, here's some more of that, like, here's some lore behind that.
Yeah.
And what that means in the context of what he's doing now.
Yeah.
And then 3 is like, cool, you've had the context. Here's this crazy-ass world he lives in all its glory.
Yeah. My issue with 3 is that... So John Wick is well known for being an action film.
Yes.
And I just found some of the action moments in the third one just went on a bit too long to sustain my interest.
Okay.
Because John Wick's fighting style... Like, I know there are, like, proper, like, martial arts techniques in there, like judo and stuff, but it is...
Yeah, because he actually, like, Keanu Reeves learns the fight moves and all that shit.
But his fighting style is essentially a lot of Keanu Reeves just rolling around on the floor. It's a lot of that. And the first action sequence you have in John Wick, right? I don't know if you remember it. He's in this, like, he's fighting these guys, and he's in, like, a corridor, and they've got a load of knives, and they're throwing all these knives and stuff, and... The action...
Oh, is this John Wick 3?
Yeah. Sorry, in the third one I meant.
Yeah, sorry, right, yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
And it ramps up nicely, and it's a real neat, like, action bit. I like it. There's variety to it. It's cool. And I was like, that was really good. I can't wait to see what else there is. And there were other cool bits, but they all just ended up going on a little bit too long for me.
Yeah.
So, like...
I don't know if I agree.
I enjoyed the John Wick on a horse stuff. Yeah. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the motorbike action scene. Yeah. That was really cool. Samurais on motorbikes. One that went on a bit too long for me was just, look at these dogs. They're cool. And I was like, they are cool.
See, I don't know if the fight scene went on too long. I admit that the dog usage was maybe overused.
Yeah. In that scene. Yeah, I was just a bit like...
Because I think there were maybe 4 guys in a row who got beaten in very similar ways.
Well, there's only so much you can do with a dog, really, isn't it? It jumps at you and attacks your throat. And I think they were like...
Then someone went, you've got to do 6. And they went, ugh, we've got like 4. Let's do 2 of them again.
Yeah. There's that one, and also like the big one at the end. Like, obviously no spoilers, but he's just going through like a lot of people in a very similar way.
Is that the big one at the end? Because
leading up to it. So you've got like him going through all of the like the guards and stuff, and then you have the fight with him versus the 2 guys, and then you got him versus the one guy.
I liked the end.
It's just
end,
like
those ones, the 2 and the 1. Because, like, every section of that fight was different in terms of how the fight was happening. The guards maybe went on too long, but then, I don't know, I liked that it started one way and then they were like, oh, this isn't working, let's do something else, and, like, changed it up a bit. I don't know. Yeah. But then again, it was like, I came in here to watch Keanu Reeves beat up a bunch of men, and that's what I'm getting, so I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's sort of like... Mission Impossible, where like the appeal of that film for me is I'm seeing Tom Cruise actually do these things. With John Wick, it's like I'm seeing Keanu Reeves actually doing like I think like 90% of this stuff. Yeah.
That is the impressive part. Is that because he's doing a lot of his own stunts. We have to cut there because this is when the stunt guy scene happens. Whereas because they're relying on Keanu Reeves doing it, like the scenes can sort of roll together better.
Yeah. I think the other issue that I personally have is I love like action films and stunts and that, but I love it like almost like the sillier the better. Until you get to the point where it's mostly CGI, then I don't like it. But it's why I quite enjoy like the Fast and Furious films, because They just ramp things up, and it does just get sillier and sillier, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Okay.
Whereas with the John Wick films, you have like stunts and that, but they're always... I would never describe like any sequence in John Wick as particularly silly. It's always grounded in some level.
No action sequences. There are definitely scenes that are silly.
Yeah, but I'm talking like the action stuff.
On an action level, no. I think the rule that they're trying to go with is... I mean, some stuff
they're trying to ground it,
some stuff is out there. Like, there is stuff he does in this film that you're like, this would not... Like, not that it wouldn't work. Basically, you're watching a guy, like, have a continuous fight for a week. So, like, part of it is, this is silly because he would probably have died in fight 2.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. It's not like... The action scenes aren't crazy. No one's driving a bus into the moon and then...
Yeah.
Like,
no one's driving a car out of a plane and then parachuting out of the car.
No, but then I also don't like that as much as you do. I much prefer a cool fight scene than a crazy action sequence.
Yeah. So I think that's where we differ when it comes to this sort of film. What do you think of Halle Berry in it?
I thought she was good. I think it's the same thing where, because I'd seen stuff beforehand of like people talking about Keanu Reeves training for the film, and then I think
talking about her training.
Yeah, because she like... Or the way he says it is she turned up and went, if Keanu's doing it, I want to do it. And then like went through all the like gun training and all that stuff. And I was like, that's really fucking cool. But
I heard like them talk about how much she put into the training. So when I watched them, I was expecting her to be much bigger.
She's not in it for as much as I thought.
No.
Which I don't know, it almost makes it more impressive because I'm like, someone went, let's get Halle Berry in this film. And then Halle Berry was like, I'm going to do all the training. And they were like, you don't need to? Like...
Yeah.
You don't need to. And she was like, I'm going to, though.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool.
Oh, one thing I have to say. Let me get the actor's name. Bronn in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know. Liam, you're asking me an actor name.
Yeah, I know. What am I thinking, eh?
Exactly.
Hang on.
Rube.
Oh, come on. Jerome Flynn?
Uh-huh.
I don't know why they made him do an accent. I really don't. His character did not need an accent.
No,
he didn't need to try and do an accent.
It would have been a bit weird if he didn't have an accent. Because I don't know. I feel like people could already say about the film, there's not a whole lot of cultural diversity in it, like in terms of countries, not racially. So like, if you're setting this assassin movie around the world, and then you have a bunch of guys who are from the country that you're setting a scene in. And then the guy that's running that country is just a normal English white guy. I think people might have been like, ooh, that's a bit weird, don't you think? So I get why they were like, you need to talk in an accent.
Would have been better than the accent.
I didn't mind it. It was silly, but I'm fine with that.
Alright, fair enough.
Out of 5, Liam?
3.5 out of 5.
I think I'll probably give it a 4.
Yeah. I said, like, I enjoyed it for what it was, but partly it's me wanting something slightly different from it, and partly it's just me being a bit like tired of it by the end.
Okay, I think if people didn't like John Wick 1, then just stop watching John Wick films because they are very much John Wick films.
Yeah. So I think there's a TV show coming out, and they've confirmed a John Wick 4 as well.
I mean, the end of 3 is very much like there's a 4th movie.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna personally watch the TV show.
I might.
But I would probably go and watch.
It is.
I think it's meant to be like his earlier years.
Oh, baby John Wick. When he's
I think it might still be Keanu Reeves.
No, I want it to be a baby though, Liam.
Like an actual baby.
Actual baby. Baby John Wick.
No one wants.
And someone buys him a puppy for his birthday, and then the TV series starts.
Alfie Allen's in John Wick.
Yeah.
In the first one.
Yeah.
He's really the one that starts it all.
Yeah.
So
I did like.
Maybe your brother was going to ask Alfie Allen about John Wick.
That's what my brother should have said. You were in John Wick.
Yeah.
I do like, and I'm probably going to cut this because I think it might be a spoiler, but I did love, there was a throwaway line in this where someone is like, he did all this because someone killed his dog and his car. And then because I'd just seen 2 where they also like destroy his house, I think John Wick is like, it wasn't just the dog and the car. And I was like, no, he's right. It was his house. That like, yeah. It's all still minor stuff in the grand scheme of things. But I just loved it as like a little throwaway, sort of almost like jokey line. Same with like the pencil stuff. Like someone says in the 3rd one, I think they're like, he kills someone with a pencil, and then in this film, he kills another guy with a pencil.
Yeah. I'm surprised they cut his finger off, because now in like the 4th one, that's going to be a hefty CGI budget to keep removing Keanu Reeves' finger.
A prosthetic finger.
Yeah, why not?
or the like sewer king is going to give him a pigeon finger.
Do you know? I really liked seeing Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves on screen together again, because obviously they did The Matrix together. So
yep.
And his whole character. One other thing though, in the marketing, what's his name? The guy that's from The League, and he's in like Dirty Grandpa,
Yes.
and he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's Jason Mantzoukas.
That's it. Yep.
In the marketing, I think he had like his own poster. I was like, oh, he's going to have a significant role in this.
He's
in like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
I was so confused. Like, why did he get his own poster?
It's also a weird casting choice for the
really
role.
Weird.
It's not a particularly funny role, and I know
No.
that's typecasting and annoying. If we're just like, he has to be funny, but when I saw him, I was like, oh, is this going to be a comedy character?
Well, he does typically get typecast. Like, his character in The League and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Dirty Grandpa, they're all somewhat pretty similar.
Yeah, like the weird guy who's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just weird.
Yeah.
But still, we'll see what happens with number 4.
Anyway, do you want to go next? Or...
Yeah, I saw Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
I didn't get around to seeing this, and I don't think it's in cinemas anymore.
Yeah, it's still showing in my local.
But it's like all bad times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they have reduced.
Yeah.
Alright, so the big thing about this is that the Pokemon... Well, it's a live-action film,
Yeah.
and the Pokemon have all been designed to look somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Like, they still obviously look like Pokemon.
Yeah, but they're like
But
covered
they're
in
not
fur.
cartoon characters. Yeah. This is a weird film.
Yes.
Because it's a mystery film, and it's obviously a Pokemon film, and it just like... I mean, you've got Ryan Reynolds doing the voice of Pikachu,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just loads of things that just don't sound like they should work. And I don't know who this film is targeting.
No, that's fair, because
Cause,
I don't know if anyone does.
No, because, like, you think, oh, okay, so it's a kid's film, so it's going to be quite light-hearted and fluffy. But, like, the first act is just, like, a huge downer. Because it's about this kid who has previously lost his mum, and now he's investigating the killing of his father, who he was estranged from.
Right.
So, I like the first... And he doesn't really want Pokemon, and there's all this, like, history as to why he doesn't want his own Pokemon, and he just doesn't know how to deal with his father dying, and it's just like, you're like, it's a slog to get through for all of the fun, light-hearted Pokemon stuff, like, because it takes, like, Pikachu a while before he gets, like, involved.
Yeah.
Like, probably about, like, 15-20 minutes, right? So you get through all that, and then you have, like, the mystery, oh, well, we need to solve this case, but obviously, because it's a mystery, it's quite twisty and turny, so you're like, are kids going to follow this?
Yeah, got you.
Right? And then, without going into spoilers, like the third act, the reveals and why the villain's doing what they're doing and who the villain is and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers.
Well, the thing that's like been blowing my mind was, I think trailer 1 and like 2 came out, right? And I was like, okay, I can sort of see, like you say, like I can see it's a mystery film, Pokemon are in it, I can see some of the plot points that are going to happen. And I think trailer 3 came out and then like ends with Mewtwo. And I was like,
yeah.
Okay, this I don't see how this film that I've been told is coming out is going to get to that point where Mewtwo is in it.
Yep.
And that so I can see, like, even without seeing it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that might happen.
Yeah. And the thing is, I enjoyed it. I really like the kid that plays the main character. I believe his name is Justice Smith. And as like a female lead in it as well, Catherine Newton. She's really good. Yeah, it is a bit weird having Ryan Reynolds' voice come out of Pikachu. Equally, because every now and again there will be like a somewhat risque joke in there, and you're just like, who's that for? Like, honestly, there were a couple of moments that made me laugh, but like, it's not like to the point where I'm saying this is not a kid's film.
No.
But it's not done in a way like the Pixar movies do it, where these jokes would go over a kid's head but make an adult laugh. They're not like that either.
Yeah, they're just the joke, and a kid would just be like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, and an adult's just like, "Why is that in this film?" So there's stuff like that. There's also like one moment As it's going along, it feels like it gets to a point where they suddenly go, we just need an action bit in here. Because there's like a few action bits as you go through. It just gets to a moment where, I won't do spoilers, but it's all about someone's genetically modifying Pokemon to be bigger.
Okay.
And that leads to this like action set piece that is just so entirely unnecessary and just does feel like they're just being like, oh, we need something fast paced here to keep people's attention, which is a shame. But yeah, it's just a weird film. Like, I obviously have a lot of nostalgia for Pokemon, which is one of the reasons I went to see it. But I honestly don't know who the target audience is.
No.
It's 3 out of 5.
Fair enough.
It's not as good. I was kind of expecting it to be a bit better, but I just came away just being like it's weird. Like, here's a perfect example of one of the jokes that you're like, why is that there? So there's a Pokemon called Mr. Mime, who does miming, and there's a scene where they're interrogating him, and he does the like basic instinct classic move in that interrogation scene.
Yeah, got you.
Where
with the legs.
I believe it's Sharon Stone. Yeah. And you're just like, who's that joke for?
But then that's a kid, that would go over a kid's head.
It would, but equally it's just so weird that I don't think an adult would be like, that's really funny. I get what you're doing there.
Yeah, alright, fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah. That's Pokemon Text Pikachu. I can't recommend it, but equally I didn't have a terrible time watching it.
No.
Put that on the poster.
I'm sure they will.
Do you want to go next?
Yep, sure thing. I saw Aladdin.
Alright, so this is the latest Disney live action.
Disney live action. We've had Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book.
When did you last see the original Aladdin?
Probably years ago.
Okay, so it's not like it's fresh or...
No.
Okay.
But I still remember the story from it, like vaguely. Enough to know that this follows the same story.
Aladdin is the first film I can recall seeing in cinemas as a kid.
Oh, fair enough. I don't think I saw it in cinemas, but I could be wrong.
I think it came out, 92? So I'd have been like 5 at the time.
I'd have been 1, so I probably didn't see it.
That would be why. Let me just double check that. Yeah, that was why.
Okay. Congrats, IMDb. No one's impressed anymore. You do it too much for anyone to be impressed.
I'm impressed.
Anyway,
yeah.
This film, it's good. I liked it. I'm trying to think if there's like any... It has some original songs in it that weren't in the original film, and I think that's important for these new Disney films. Like, I know some people kick up a fuss about it, but I think people would hate these films more if you literally just went and saw that cartoon movie, but with people.
Yeah.
They didn't add a whole lot of plot lines or anything. I think there were like 1 or 2 little bits that I was like, oh, okay, that's not in the original, and they've changed it up.
Yeah.
So that's cool. They managed to do the animals quite well in terms of like, how do you convert a talking parrot who is sentient to a live action film, and they do that quite well, where he's a parrot who talks like a normal parrot, but like sometimes says something a little bit too advanced, and you're like, ooh, this parrot's creepy.
Right, okay.
But there's like, it's generally a good, enjoyable film. Like Will Smith as the genie, everyone gave that a lot of hate. It's fine because he does ridiculous stuff like the Robin Williams genie, but not to the same degree. You know, in the cartoon, it's very much like, oh, this is Robin Williams playing the genie.
Well, there's one of my favourite bits of trivia, I think, from Aladdin, is apparently they wanted to put it forward for Best Original Script for the Oscar, and it got kicked out because too much of it was Robin Williams ad-libbing. Yeah,
well, that makes sense. Whereas, this you can tell is scripted. But, and that's fine, because again, if it was too similar, everyone would have complained that he wasn't Robin Williams and he was trying to be him. So I totally get it for this. And it's cool and it works. And he doesn't look that ridiculous when he's blue. Like, again, everyone freaked out about. It looks fine on screen. So, overall, it's not amazing. I wouldn't be like, oh, everyone should go rush out and see it. But it's another pretty good Disney live-action film.
Yeah, fair enough. I kind of wish that, instead of just remaking, the big classics live-action... I wish they'd do some of the sequels, because I remember, I used to have on VHS Aladdin Return of Jafar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to be really hard to top, Aladdin. But Aladdin Return of Jafar, there's definitely room there to improve on it.
Yeah, but the problem with doing that, Liam, would be they aren't making these films for us. They are making them for kids. And it's a lot of people's first time seeing Aladdin, I imagine, is going to be this film. Because this is in the cinema, and their parents will be like, oh, I used to like Aladdin, you'll probably love this film. So, it would be fucking weird if the first experience someone had of Aladdin was Return of Jafar or Prince of Thieves or whatever it was called. I think the third one, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I get why they're doing the first one as the live action remake.
Yeah.
Like no one would go and
guess.
see the live action Lion King 2 because people would be like, "Where's the first one?"
I mean, to be fair, like I went to cinema to see Jungle Book and quite enjoyed it, but I didn't go to see Beauty and the Beast. I'm not going to go see Aladdin. I doubt I'm going to go see The Lion King either.
The Lion King actually looks alright. I'm going to see it just because it's the first one that's just animals. So I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. Like I know Jungle Book has a lot of animal characters,
but you still have Mowgli.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to watch like Beauty and the Beast and stuff.
Beauty and the Beast is good. I love that film.
Yeah, it is on my list, but I've got that fucking Disney box set to crack through at some point. So one of the things I wanted to get around to on my week off was starting on that, and I didn't get to it.
You idiot.
I know. I'm still trying to finish my Russ Meyer films, and I didn't do any of those either.
Jesus, Lim. Sounds like you didn't do much.
I
would like
brilliant.
to say there was this point right where we were leaving the cinema or about to leave, and it's not a spoiler because it's just an end credit song. But there is a song that happens in the end credits, and it's one of the songs that happens in the film. Totally fine, like Will Smith singing one of the songs. I was like, oh, that's cool. Except this version that they play in the credits, the first song of the credits, starts with Will Smith going, "It's Will Smith," and then DJ Khaled goes, "DJ Khaled," and they have remixed one of the songs from the film, and that is the weirdest thing that I can imagine is that someone went, you know who needs to be involved in this cinema project we've done? DJ Khaled. I'm sure I'm sure all the kids really want to hear Will Smith and DJ Khaled remix whatever song it was.
How was the audience for Aladdin?
Shit. I hated it. We had my mum and dad's mate's kid with us, so we went in the day, and it was a Saturday, and it was just families, and I was sitting next to this fucking family who it was a bad sign when at the start of the film, like in the trailers, or was it in the adverts? I think it was the trailer, so the lights were dim but not off.
Yeah.
The woman 2 seats away from me got out her phone, turned on her phone torch, shone it into her lap, and I was like, okay, she's looking for something, that's fine. No, she was using her torch to eat her sushi that she had brought into the cinema. Because, you know, that famous cinema snack that we all know and love, sushi. So I don't
understand people.
I got to spend 10 minutes with the stench of fish in my nostrils, a light in my eye, and then throughout the film, she had to turn that fucking phone light on so many times in the film because, like, her kid dropped something and she had to find it then. And they eventually, I think because they saw how often I was looking over at them when they were being shits, they eventually moved all the way across. So still in the row we were in, but all the way to the side. Big gap between us. Yeah. But that just meant that they let their kids talk more because they were like, oh, we're away from people now. And I was like, no. No, that's not how it fucking works. There should be a rule. If your kid you should watch a film at home, and if your kid can't watch the whole film at home, just don't take them to the cinema. Like, they clearly don't want to be there.
No, I entirely agree. What annoys me, like, so I'm currently mostly going to an Odeon, right?
Yeah, that's where I go.
Before the films, you've probably got this as well then, they've got a little Toy Story bit where it's like, don't take a phone call, don't be on your phone, and also don't have a conversation. And I went to the cinema today to see something, and literally, as soon as that finished, the people behind me started talking. And I'm like, were you not paying attention? It's literally just been on screen. I don't understand how people can be that inconsiderate.
No, it's just insane. Like, the issue with it is, right, so, from a fundamental logic thing, I can see why you would want to talk to your friend. Because if you're just at the cinema, you're like, okay, I'm watching a film, my friend is here, that's two of the best things. I'm watching a film and I can talk to my friend. And then you add a layer of logic and you go, okay, well, everyone around me spent, 10 quid to see this film.
Yeah.
And me talking is going to ruin that. So I've now wasted all their fucking money. They should beat the shit out of me. They're lucky that people are polite. Because we don't. But honestly, people should be ejected. There should be an usher in every fucking screening whose job is literally just to go up to people and go, you're being a dick. Stop.
Yeah. I've been saying this for so long. Like, either an usher or like what they have, I think I've seen in the past, like on planes where you have like the secret police.
They're not called that on planes, but I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Liam wants the Gestapo to be in the cinema with you.
I just like, and I get why they don't, right?
Because
like,
it's more money.
Yeah. But the problem is, cinemas are like, oh, how do we compete with people watching stuff at home? How do we compete with streaming? The way you compete is you have a huge fucking screen and an amazing sound system that 99.9% of people don't have. But what is absolutely ruining you, more so than expensive ticket prices, is the fact that everyone else is being absolute cunt.
Yeah, yeah.
And you need to figure out a way of fixing that, because you can't rely on audiences to
No, because it's unfair
out.
to, like, the main reason I don't leave a cinema to get someone is because I'm like, I will miss out on a chunk of this film because I have to go and find someone and talk to them and explain what's happening. And by the time I get back in, yeah, sure, the problem might get solved, but I've now missed a chunk of the film I've paid money for.
But not like, so I had that when I went to see The Predator, right?
Yeah.
Where, luckily I couldn't hear what was going on brilliantly, so it didn't affect my enjoyment too much. But I was somewhat aware of it. A few rows behind me, someone kept talking. And then it got to the point where another couple asked them to stop. And the people that they asked to stop mouthed back, right? This really upset the girl that asked them to stop. She stormed out, got an usher, which is, you know, what you should do. But then they came back, and the usher came back and had to eject the two people. And all this is going on when you're trying to pay attention to a film.
Yeah.
It's very distracting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't get why people can't just be fucking considerate about where they are and the fact that they're not the only ones there.
Yeah, I don't know why people are spending money to go to the cinema. Like, these people, the people that ruin films. Like, not necessarily the families, because I can see even though I don't agree with it, I get that they're like, it's something my kid will like, I'll take them to see a film. So I can see how you'd be like, well, I'll do that and not be thinking about all that. But when it's just like a group of a few lads or whatever who turn up and are just chatting through a film, I'm like, you've spent money to do this? Go hang out outside.
Ridiculous. Yeah. It's like, I've definitely said this on the podcast before, but I feel like there should be a way where, like, maybe with cinemas you'd have like a membership or something, and other, like, you know, like with like Uber, where the drivers can also rate the passengers.
Yeah.
Something like that, so you can rate what the people around you are like, and if you get a low rating, you get relegated to like a dickhead only screening.
I do like the idea of dickheads only screenings.
Yeah, you can. So I'm not banning people from seeing films.
Yeah,
you just have to go see them with other people that are going to be on their phone and talking.
Yeah,
and then everyone else. And the thing is, dickhead only screenings are probably going to end up being more profitable than screenings for normal people. No one's losing.
Yeah,
we need to own our own cinema chain.
People would not come.
I don't know.
Everyone would just end up being a dickhead. We'd be like, it's all dickhead screenings.
It's all dickheads. I just want to sit here alone and watch a film.
It's just me and you in one screening a day that is not for dickheads, and then all the other showings are dickhead-only screenings.
Yeah. I mean, like, there will be times when I'll be, like, watching a film with Kat, and I might, like, ask her a question. But I do it, like, I lean over, I do it right in her ear, quietly.
Yep.
So it's... And I will make sure it's not, like, I'm not having a conversation here. I'll just be like, is that person from this thing that we saw recently?
Yeah.
And she'll be like, yeah. And that's it. Like... But I'm very aware as well when that happens. I'm like, is this the sort of thing that I can remember and ask her afterwards?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's no question that is so urgent I need to, like, ruin the enjoyment of everyone else.
No, exactly. Aladdin gets a 3 out of 5.
Very good. I saw Rocket Man.
How's that?
I enjoyed it. Did you see Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
Not very good.
Oh, see, I quite enjoyed it.
They gloss over all the bad stuff.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Queen, so just seeing
same.
Queen songs, I enjoyed that element to it. I'm not as big a fan of Elton John.
No.
Like, I like his music, it's fine, but yeah, like Queen I would go out of my way to listen to.
Yeah.
Elton John less so. But yeah, it's still enjoyable. It's so where it's different to Bohemian Rhapsody is Bohemian Rhapsody is like, this is their story of how they became Queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rocket Man, it's a musical.
Okay.
So it's not like the songs are, oh, so this is when, in that stage of his life, this is when he was writing that song.
Yeah,
they don't do that. They just go, this song would fit well with that stage of his life, so we're going to use it to highlight that.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton, I think is how you say his name, but I don't really know. He's good, playing Elton John. Also, what's interesting is in Bohemian Rhapsody, you know their, like, agent manager who's played by Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
That same person is also in Rocket Man, played by Richard Madden, who was also in Game of Thrones. But, like, so in Bohemian Rhapsody, he basically dicks him over, and in Rocket Man, basically the exact same thing happens. And I'm just like, how the fuck was this same dude involved in these two, like, huge, like, musical phenomenons, and also a dick about both of them?
Yeah.
honestly, I part of me, I've seen it on Twitter, so this isn't my original idea, but a part of me wishes that like they'd cast the same actor and they'd start building up this own like mini like universe based around this one guy, because it's just weird. Like, because you would watch it and be like, oh, those characters are similar, and then you realise that it is the same guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, but yeah, it's good. It's fun. I like musicals.
I've heard that it less brushes over the bad stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because that was my issue with Bohemian Rhapsody, was that it like the drugs are like barely referenced, and everyone in that band was doing drugs. Like,
yeah.
Whereas I've heard this film is much more like, no, here's the stuff that Elton John did.
It is, but it doesn't like go too deep
Yeah,
into it.
it's
Either.
not like
it doesn't gloss over.
It's not like
it,
you
yeah.
should hate Elton John.
Yeah, and it's not like this is train spotting with Elton John.
Does it reference the fact that he was Watford's chair or whatever it is? He basically was like this. He loves Watford FC.
Yeah, I think there is like a reference to
there?
that. I think there is.
That's very cool. My dad would like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. I gave it like 4 out of 5.
Fair enough.
Back to you.
I have also, Liam, my final thing on my list, I did a TV show. I did Good Omens.
So this is based off of a Terry Pratchett.
Terry
book,
Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, both wrote the book. It's like I've never read it, but apparently lots of people have, and lots of people just love the book like it's their child.
Okay.
Like, I've heard a lot of people who are like, it's one of the best books ever. I love it.
Yeah.
It's got David Tennant and Michael
Sheen.
Huh?
Sheen.
Yep, Michael Sheen. Yep. As the two lead characters. It's it's basically the end of the world is coming, and how does David Tennant, a devil, and Michael Sheen, an angel, I forgot his name immediately. How do they deal with it? But
okay,
it's just so good. Like, it's lovely. The whole film, the whole series is just, you're watching this bromance between an angel and a devil, and that's fucking cool. And David Tennant and Michael Sheen just pull that off. Their chemistry is amazing.
Yeah.
And like the way they've got those characters down is mind blowing. Like, minor details, you're like, that is exactly how I would picture an angel doing something compared to a devil.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it's down to minutia. Like, I think there's a scene in the rain, and Michael Sheen's character has an umbrella, and David Tennant's character just like pushes under the umbrella basically, and then Michael Sheen's character just happily holds the umbrella over him and a little bit over himself, and you're like, yeah, they're playing these characters like perfectly. It's such a minor detail that perfectly exemplifies how their friendship is, where one of them's kind of a dick and one of them's just this lovely angel,
like us.
Yeah, I'm the beautiful angel and you're Satan incarnate.
I don't think our listeners would agree with that.
They might.
Well,
listeners, write in and let us know.
Not if they've been listening to this entire show.
But honestly, yeah, it's so good. I think everyone should just go watch it. Even if you haven't read, I hadn't read the book, and it is so good.
The only thing that's putting me off is Neil Gaiman.
Why?
I just don't like him.
That's such a bad reason not to watch. It's also Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, I know.
That's such a bad reason not to watch a TV series, because Neil Gaiman has something to do with it.
I know, it's bonkers. I also don't know why I dislike Neil Gaiman.
No, we've covered this before, that you have an irrational hate of him for no reason.
Yeah, this was a long time ago though that we covered this.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you just hate him, and no one knows why.
No, there's very few people that I have this about, but he's one, and Gemma Arterton is another.
Okay,
can't stand her.
Fair enough. Watch Good Omens anyway, Liam. He's not in it, so you're fine.
I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, maybe.
No,
but then
just
I've heard like some mixed things. I've heard some people say it's really good, and then other people be like, oh, it's a bit too out there for me.
I don't know what they mean by out there. I guess like if maybe they were only watching things like EastEnders and Coronation Street, then yeah, this would be quite out there, because it would start and they'd be like, there's this angel, and they'd be like, no, too much.
No, it's out there.
Oh, I don't like this.
Fair enough.
Who runs the pub though? I don't understand. He's an angel, but who runs the pub? That was a soap opera reference for all our listeners out there that didn't get that.
Every soap opera seems to have a pub in it that someone runs.
It has to be like the core premise of each of them. They're like, and then this guy owns the pub, and then everyone hangs out there.
I don't know if it is in Hollyoaks, but I've never watched Hollyoaks.
So we don't know. I bet there's a bar. I bet Hollyoaks has a bar, not a pub.
Yeah, possibly.
Emmerdale, never seen that. That has got to have a pub. That's set in the countryside.
No, it does. Yeah.
I know Coronation Street and EastEnders both have pubs.
Yeah, you got is it the Queen's Head? No, not the Queen's Head. What's it called in?
Oh, it's the Queen Vic.
In EastEnders.
In EastEnders,
the Queen Vic. And in Coronation Street, it's Raver's Return.
Yep, very good.
I'm pretty sure that I don't know if it's a pub, but it's like a bar that's in Neighbours. Going Australian now.
Yep.
Lose.
Lose. What? Just Lose, wasn't it? Just Lose. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there is in Home and Away.
I watched that when I was a kid. I watched it. I mean, my mum watched it. I don't remember there being somewhere, but I can't say for certain.
And that exhausts my knowledge of soaps.
Yeah.
I never watched Hollyoaks. I think that's pretty much it for soaps, isn't it?
Probably. There's probably others, but who gives a shit?
Shown in the UK.
Yeah. But yeah, Good Omens. Watch it, all of you, and you.
Right.
Just watch it, Liam.
Out of
Trust
5?
me. Out of 5, like 4.5.
That's pretty high. Do you reckon? Is there going to be a second season, or is it like one and done?
So, the original book is just one book. They had started working on a book 2, and apparently some of the scenes from the show are taken from what they already had planned for book 2.
Okay.
There are rumours that a season 2 might happen, and if it does, there's already an idea for where it will go. So, and I think it's done quite well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they announced season 2.
Okay.
And I'd be interested to see what it does.
Cool. I also did a TV show.
What did you do, Liam?
Watched season 3 of Riverdale.
Is this the one where it's all like Dungeons and Dragons stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that?
So, right, here's the thing with Riverdale. If you've listened to this before, I don't think I've reviewed season 2 in the past on this show, but I don't think I reviewed season 1.
Maybe not.
So I'm just gonna bring people up to speed before I talk about season 3. Right, Riverdale season 1 is like Dawson's Creek and the OC and Twin Peaks all mixed together, and I'm a big fan of that. Like, in the first 4 episodes of season 1 of Riverdale, they covered a storyline that was a huge part of the entire season 1 of Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
And I'm just okay, I get what you're doing here. You're amping things up and just getting things moving a bit quicker. I get it. In a post Glee world, I get that you want to speed things up a bit. Season 2 was that worked. Let's do less of the teen drama stuff that Liam loves, and let's do more of the amping shit up. So season 2 was all about this character called the Black Hood, who was a serial killer. And it was who is the Black Hood and all this sort of stuff, right?
Probably that bloody Archie or the one with the silly name.
Jughead?
Yeah.
They've all got silly names. One of the
Archie's
characters
a pretty normal name. That's just short for Archibald, right?
Yeah. I mean, and you've got Betty and Veronica, yeah. But then you've also got Sweet Pea.
That's a bad name.
Yeah. There's Baby Teeth.
Okay, yeah, right.
Hang on, there's another one. What is his sister called? You've got Penny Peabody.
Yep.
And then here's the silly one I was looking for. You've got Jughead's sister.
Yeah.
Jughead Jones. His sister's called JB, which is short for Jellybean. Jellybean Jones.
Is that her nickname?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Right.
And and someone in the Archie universe is a serial killer called the Black Hood.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Right.
Yeah. So season 3, right?
Yep.
Continues on. So in season 2, you find out who the Black Hood is, and then in season 3, he still has this Silence of the Lambs Hannibal Lecter presence, where he's in a glass prison, and someone goes and talks to him. It's very Silence of the Lambs. So you've got that just bubbling along in the background. You've got in all of the previous 2 seasons, this thing called the farm is referenced. One of the characters, their sister, had run away with some twins that they shouldn't have had. They've run away, and the farm has given them refuge.
Yeah. And
in the second one, then the mum gets involved, and then in this one, you find out that the farm is this huge cult thing that people get involved in, which is led by the guy Chad Michael Murray, who was in One Tree Hill. Is one of the main guys in that.
Never watched One Tree Hill.
No, but it ties back into that teenagey thing, right? So you got that going on, and then the other storyline is how everyone's getting really into what is the Riverdale equivalent of D&D, which is called Griffins and Gargoyles.
Yeah, bad name, but yes.
And then you've got the Gargoyle King, which is this dude who wears this huge what are they called? Not deer. The thing with antlers.
Moose?
Not a moose. It's not a moose.
Elk.
I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. It's this like weird like skull thing that he wears.
Yeah, you sure it's not a deer?
Like,
it's usually deer.
it might be. Yeah, and it has these like tree antlers that are coming out of it, and it wears this like cloak. And the thing with Griffins and Gargoyles is it's like high stakes games. So like if you go out on a quest, you're like actually going out and having to do something, and you have to like prove your worth. And some of the quests will be like, I'll prove your loyalty, and you'll have like 2 things to drink from, and one will be poison and one won't. Cool. And people start dying.
Why are people playing it?
It's like a...
I imagine if I was like, oh, I really want to play D&D, and then I turned up at your house and you were like, all right, let's start quest 1. Ellie, here's 2 drinks. One of them is poisonous, one of them isn't. I'd probably go, I'm going to find a different group.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not the first quest, but like people get suckered into it, and it just it does become like an obsession for them.
Okay.
And then it amps up. Okay. So you've got that going on.
Yeah.
Also, Archie gets really into boxing.
Okay.
He becomes like a boxer. Because like the way season 2 ends, like season 3 immediately has to deal with that, and part of that is Archie getting into this like underground boxing fight club.
What the fuck is this show? I feel like I need to watch it just because it sounds so fucking insane.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think you would somewhat enjoy it, especially the 3rd season with the whole G&G stuff that's going on. But here's the thing as well, because I've been saying to you for a while now that you should watch it. Kat loves this show, and the sillier it gets for her, the more she loves it. I enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Season 3, I enjoyed like the first half of it, and then it got to a point for me where it went too silly.
Yeah, see, this is why I think I might like it more than you.
Yeah,
because like,
so
you're like, I can see that the reason you wouldn't enjoy it is because it's moved away from the team drama part, which you love. Whereas for me, I'd be like, that's the shit bit. So the more of that they cut out, the more into it I am. Yeah,
and at this point now, there is none of that anymore. No one cares who ends up with who, because they're too busy having boxing matches and
like Betty and
fighting.
Veronica are like, who cares who gets Archie? He's this grizzled mess with like a boxed face.
Yeah, so I was enjoying the first half of season 3, and then something silly happens, and then it just is all too silly for me now. So I'm now only watching it because Kat is really enjoying it, and I'm sat there and I'm like, fine, I guess I'll see what happens next. It's not great, is the thing, but it's. And I do think you would enjoy it, because why I'm saying it's not great is it's lost the stuff that I enjoy, and it's gone all in on all the other stuff. And I kind of get it, because all that other stuff is what sets it apart.
Yeah.
So I get it. And again, no spoilers, but season 2 kind of ends in a way where certain things have been wrapped up. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm satisfied with stopping there. We were watching the last episode of season 3, and I know there's a season 4 coming, but I was like, I think I'm going to drop out at this point. And then right at the end, it does like a little flash forward.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh no, now I need to see what happens in season 4.
Well, that sounds...
because it's so insane.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is that because it like I was picturing that the flash forward would be like them flash forwarding to teen drama, and you being like, I'm back in, which would be even more insane if it was like, we start with teen drama, we go to crazy cults and serial killers, and then we come back into season 4 with just a little bit of teen drama.
And the other issue I had with the finale, right? Again, no spoilers, but it just... I'm already at the stage where I'm like, it's too silly.
Yeah.
And it went, here's a twist, here's another twist, and here's another twist. And I was just like, you didn't need those last 2 twists. One twist would have been enough. But yeah, this little like... So it wasn't like a big flash forward. They're about to start, I think, their senior year of high school.
Yep.
And it flashes forward to spring break of that senior year. And I'm just like, oh, I need to see how we get there.
Okay.
It's going to be insane. If you're going to watch it, I won't tell you what the flash forward is.
You've sold me with some of the things you've said today, Liam.
Yeah. I especially like... if you can get to season 3, I know that you would enjoy all of the G&G stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was way into it until they just... The other issue I had with season 3 is one of the big like questions throughout the season is, who is the Gargoyle King? Like, who's the one that's pulling all the strings behind this G&G cult game?
Yeah.
And they string that question out too long.
Got you.
And then when you do find out who it is, you're just like, none of this makes sense anymore, because it's just...
Okay.
It's been going on for too long now. Like, a part of it does feel like they're sort of making it up as they go along.
Yeah.
Like, with season 3 particularly, it doesn't feel like they've gone, let's plan this. One other thing that I don't know how to phrase this. I'm not going to say it bothered me, but something that I don't know how they're going to address is the guy that plays Archie's dad.
Yeah.
What's his name? Luke Perry. He actually died while they were doing season 3 of a stroke, I think it is. And in the show, they haven't like addressed it or anything. Like the show like did like a short hiatus, I guess, where they were like, "Well, what are we going to do about this?" And all they've done is they've just said, "Oh, he's gone away somewhere," and they've not explained where or anything. And they've just like had like the actress that plays Archie's mum, who has guested in some of the previous like episodes, but has never been a main character. Yeah. Like she starts outside the show and then comes in just for little bits. She's like stepped in and is now like around.
Okay.
And she's kind of said like, "Oh, I'm just here while your dad's away," and I'm just like, how do they resolve this? Yeah. Like, are they going to recast?
I'm assuming they'll do at the start of season 4. They'll be like, here's why he's not here.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to do, right? Because you don't want to do like the actor died, so let's kill off the character, because that seems not like the right way of handling that. I think that
might be what they do,
Liam. Yeah, maybe, but it's just weird that I don't know. It's something that just as I was watching it, knowing what was going on behind the scenes, I was just like, I don't get why they're addressing it in this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
Fair enough.
But I think you would probably really be on the higher end of the scale for this.
I'd be like, this is fucking insane. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so now it's time for this bit of the show. Liam, what shitty joke have you prepared this time?
I haven't done any this time.
Okay, cool. Housekeeping.
I was thinking maybe you should start linking into housekeeping, because I don't think I can be trusted.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it in like I should start doing silly things. But no, if it's I think we can maybe all agree that Liam might have got...
Not all of us. No, not all of us.
I'm not saying that they would agree that you've got... I think even the people that enjoyed it might be willing to admit that perhaps it was a little bit too far.
We had a tweet from Tom.
Yeah.
That said, "Am I pleased the housekeeper intro happened? Yes, I am."
But I think that's almost him acknowledging that it was a bit problematic, because he's like, "Am I pleased this happened? Did I want this to happen? Yeah, I am. Yeah, sure." So I think even Tom is like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the last link into housekeeping from last episode was maybe one of the most problematic parts of the show that you've ever not edited out.
Yep. Yeah, exactly, yeah. There's stuff I've cut that we've both been like, yeah, that makes sense. But listening to it, I was like, I want to cut it. I'll be honest with you, I went to myself, I went, Ellie, you've got to cut that. And then I went, it's so borderline okay. Like, it's not okay that you did it.
No.
But I also couldn't merit editing it out, because, I don't know, I was like, it's almost... You would have used it. You'd have said, "Oh, Ellie edited out my joke." And I was like, you know what? You know what, Liam? You said this. Hey, maybe sometimes these things have to stay in the show.
Have consequences. I played it to Kat, and she went, "It's so not okay that's why it's okay."
Yeah, I think that might be
because it's so outlandish that it's you have to assume that you're making a joke.
Yes, I think if it had been less of if it had sounded like you were just very calmly saying it, it would have been more of a problem.
Yeah, and also what I did realise listening back is it did play like I was saying I was pro-life, which is very not true.
Yeah. Housekeeping.
Let's keep
the house.
Keep the house.
Yep.
Oh, we had tweets, didn't we?
Who tweeted us?
Who do you think?
The American religious right.
Well,
saying thanks for joining us in our crusade, Liam.
They, well, actually, before we talk about the last episode, Amanda tweeted us saying that she caught up with Game of Thrones and then she listened to our specials about it.
Yeah.
So she started off by saying she's almost done with season 6, and it's interesting to hear our season 7 predictions and hopes. And apparently Amanda just laughed out loud when I called Jorah the Explorer. And I tweeted back saying I don't remember our predictions, so like how far off base are we? I'm guessing very. And Amanda said that we were off in some ways, not in others. So she put some of our predictions, which were, I think one of the dragons will die. Tyrion is expendable at this point. And Ellie wanted more with the White Walkers, but she didn't want them to be the ultimate baddie. And you also didn't think that Jon and Dany would hook up because incest.
Yeah.
So, kind of interesting seeing that. And then we had another tweet from Amanda saying that she finished season 7 and listened to, again, our predictions and hearing them in hindsight. Apparently you thought that Cersei's pregnancy was bunk, and I thought Tyrion would turn on Dany because he was evil. So thanks, Amanda, for going back and checking out those specials. Kat tweeted us promoting our last episode, saying Liam talks about Booksmart in this, so go listen because it's a great film.
Yep.
Don't point that horror at me podcast tweeted us saying that we know you're waiting for our spring break episode and it'll be out soon, but in the meantime, if you miss Becky's overloud cackling and sarcasm, give Nerd on Nerd a listen. She talks point horror and The Omen.
I mean, you probably don't need to read out the tweets that aren't directed at us, because that one isn't. That's just a promotional tweet that's not aimed at us.
We were tagged in it.
I'm going to edit that one out.
Amanda tweeted us.
It's just
Amanda
you reading out a promotional tweet from another podcast about listening to an episode of our podcast. It's gone.
It's brilliant. I love it.
You need to learn to
Amanda tweeted us.
Yes, Amanda tweeted us.
Amanda tweeted us, and I think she's trolling you, and I hope she is because it's brilliant. She tweeted us saying, so excited for a nice long episode. Because you've been quite vocal in your feelings towards long episodes.
That they're a nightmare hellscape that I have to edit.
Yeah, and I love that Amanda's just like, very aware that that's how you feel about them, and is still just like, I love that you've got a long episode coming out.
I don't think Amanda is trolling me. I think Amanda just legitimately enjoys the long episodes and doesn't think she's not like you, Liam. She's not malicious.
But it's funnier if you read it as her trolling you.
I will not until Amanda tweets in and says, yes, I was trolling you.
Alright. Frankie at Briss Frankie tweeted us saying, Ellie, I'm with you. In his first few scenes, I thought the photographer in The Omen was not nice and was going to be a bit of a bad guy. Was glad when that turned out to not be the case.
Yep.
Amanda said, the question that Becky asks about the volume on the TV is so relatable, it took me years to not have to have an even number. And she's so sad that 2/3 of us haven't had an amazing meatball. I think the key is they need to be giant and soft for the most part, and I'm all for having them in meat sauce.
I am for a much smaller meatball.
Yeah, I mean,
but then
out of the three of us, who
that's
did
part
have a good
of my.
meatball?
I think I'm the one that doesn't specifically say I've never had a good meatball, but I can't remember. Maybe I'm not. I can't remember for certain.
Yeah,
but
I think the thing with meatballs, right, is it's never like, if you have like a meatball dish, you're never like, oh, that meatball was amazing. It would always be like either like the sauce or the pasta it was with or something.
But I've had good meatballs. Like, I've had good Swedish meatballs. Swedish meatballs are fucking delicious.
Oh, fuck off. Disagree entirely with everything you just said.
Weird. The person that didn't like meatballs isn't supporting my idea that I like some meatballs.
Yeah. Amanda tweeted saying, what is the video nasty list? And I realised that we didn't really like go into that.
Oh, God, history lesson with Liam.
It's just very quickly, basically, in the 70s in the UK, the BBFC, the British Board of Film Censorship, whether they rebranded to classification.
Oh, I was going to say, I knew it was classification. I didn't realise they were called censorship before. Fair enough.
Yeah, in the 70s it was. Basically, in the 70s, and 80s specifically, let me rephrase that. In the 80s, all of the like exploitation films that had come out in like the 70s and the 80s, film marketers had realised that if you stick like a really lurid front cover on the video boxes, they would sell well. And also some of the films were just like the sort of exploitation gross films like Cannibal Holocaust and that sort of thing. These films were doing really well. The BBFC clamped down to protect the children, obviously, and banned like a huge list of these like nasty films. Things like Driller Killer were on that list, and there was like 70 films in total or something in the end. And it's just a weird thing where now a lot of those films have been released uncut in the UK, which again shows how like attitudes towards censorship changes over time. Yep. And a lot of these films, you know, aren't great films in the first place and definitely didn't deserve to be censored in the way that they were. And it's weird but interesting. It's an interesting piece of history, but equally it just, as someone who already dislikes some of what the BBFC stands for, it's one of those examples of them just really sticking their nose in when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like, I get the need for like providing classifications to films and telling like parents like this is what's in that film.
Yeah, because you couldn't show stuff in the cinema and be like, there's no age rating, just go see whatever, and the parents just like, I guess I'll go see Hostel with my kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I get that, but where I dislike the BBC is when they start suggesting cuts and stuff to get ratings. So like perfect example is The Woman in Black, Daniel Radcliffe film. Initially came in at a 15, and then they made suggestions to tone down the horror so it would get a 12A so it could hit up that sweet Harry Potter audience. Yeah. And that's where I take umbrage with it.
Yeah, they should just
And
be
equally-
ratings and not be providing feedback on here's how you'd get lower if you wanted.
Yeah.
They should just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the classification.
Yeah, and equally there was a while back now, but recent-ish, there was a whole load of issue with the Human Centipede 2, where like the BBFC wanted cuts before they'd even give it an 18 certificate, which is the highest certificate you can get in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if I'm if you're giving it an 18 certificate, that means it's for adults and over. Don't start cutting what I should be able to see if you agree that this is only for adults.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just video nasties in a nutshell. Basically, I could go on a very long rampage about all of that, but no one wants that. Amanda tweeted saying, have any of us read or watched Good Omens? Obviously, you've just reviewed that. And Becky also responded saying it's one of her favourite books. She's read it maybe 3 times, and she's 3 episodes into the show, a lot of which she likes, and she's generally enjoying it a lot. And Amanda said she started the show last night, and she's read the book before. She's looking forward to Ellie's review.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Also, as she was listening to our breakdown of The Omens, she kept thinking about the opening chapter / first episode of Good Omens. She loves the book and is liking the show so far.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the house that's been kept. Have you done any previous culture swappy things? Like read any more? I don't know, Spider-Gwen or Sunstone?
I don't think so.
No,
don't think so. But Liam, it's obviously not all of it, is it? You idiot. Because this is part of housekeeping. You big fool. Last time I asked you, which was on the last episode, surprisingly, you had watched. You still had to watch 1,090 films. Now, Liam, as listeners heard at the beginning, you've had a full week off.
Yeah.
I am expecting, honestly, I'm expecting a big number. I'm expecting some of the big changes we've had before. I could almost ask for a -14 here, I think, and not be unreasonable.
It's not going to be anything like that, because, like I said, a lot of that week was playing video games.
Well,
a lot of it. I watched some movies, but mostly video games. But we are now down to 1,084.
So 6 films.
Yeah.
Which
isn't bad. It's not bad.
Not on track, though.
What do you mean not on track?
Not on track to get below 1,000.
Well, I've still got 84 to do this year, right?
Yeah.
There's still 6 months to go?
Yeah. Yes.
How many a month is that?
Well, let me just, instead of doing it that way, Liam, let's go, you started at 1,115 and you're down to 1,084. So you've watched 30 films and you've got 84 left to watch. So in half a year, you haven't done half of the films, would be my way of gauging it. So not on track was a fairly accurate statement.
But I've hardly bought any films.
Yeah, and
that's the most impressive part.
No, it isn't. The most impressive part is that you haven't bought many films and you've only watched 30. Any other year that we had done this, if you hadn't bought films, you probably would have hit the goal. And yet somehow in the year that you've managed to not buy films, you've somehow fucked yourself a different way. It's like some part of you doesn't want to win.
I've just not been watching as many. I've just not been watching as many films.
Are you
lately.
a masochist, Liam?
No.
Are you getting off on the punishments?
No, I'm narcissist.
That's true.
That's the ist that I am.
Okay.
Sexist narcissist.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, there's 2 ists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a joke, listeners. Liam loves women.
He loves women, but he is also a narcissist. That bit wasn't a joke. The sexist bit.
No, that bit wasn't. Just the sexist bit. Yeah.
All right, culture swap.
Swap my culture.
Let's do it. And then what do we do this time?
I said at the start of the episode.
Yeah, but we always say it again at the culture swap. Because at this point, people who listen to an hour and a half of us just chuntering away, they've probably forgotten.
Chuntering?
Yeah, that's the thing you can say, isn't it?
It is, but I don't know if I'd describe this episode as chuntering.
We chunter.
I think
we're just a couple of chunters.
I think that does us a disservice.
Oh.
I would say we've spent an hour and a half entertaining our listeners.
Okay.
For free.
All right, calm down.
This is money out of our pocket that we've spent doing this.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's the sad bit.
You're welcome. Honestly, listeners, it's not a guilt trip. It's not saying you should be paying us or anything. I'm just saying, don't describe what we're doing here as chuntering when it's costing us money to entertain you.
I like that you're having a go at the listeners over something I said.
Yeah. Alright. Rat Queens, Volume 1, Sass and Sorcery. It is a graphic novel. And you know what that means?
Liam's going to read us the entire credits page.
Curtis J. Weeb did the story. Rock Upchurch did the art covers. Ed Brisson did the letters. And Laura Tavishati did the edits. Obviously, can't forget Jim Valentino, who is the publisher and did the book design.
Very good, Liam.
Thank you. So I suggested this because this had been sat in my to-read pile for ages, and all I knew about it was that it was basically a graphic novel version of like essentially a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
And you're way into your D&D at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Ellie will like this. Liam will probably like this too.
Yeah, you're also into D&D.
Yeah. But obviously I was going to like this because I'd already bought it. So that's why I was like, oh, it's a safe recommendation for Ellie.
Got you.
What do you think?
I really enjoyed it. Surprise, surprise.
I think it's like Lumberjanes, where, again, it was one that I was like, I think Ellie would like this. And I think when it comes to graphic novels, I've got good like recommendations for you. It's everything else that I struggle with, particularly books.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Although films, I can generally recommend you good films.
Yeah, the films you can do if I specifically say to you, like you were always good if I was like, Liam, I'm in the mood to watch this kind of film. What should I watch? You were always good at getting them.
Yeah.
But you also like to annoy me with films where you'll be like, you should watch this film. And then I watch it and I'm like, God, I hated it. And you're like, haha.
I've got another film like that I want to do at some point on the podcast.
Lovely.
Although I don't know if you've seen it or not. House of a Thousand Corpses?
No, I haven't seen it.
Perfect, yeah.
Will I hate
great
it?
one. Huh?
Will I hate it?
Kat hates it.
No, fair enough.
I begrudgingly like it.
Okay.
So maybe our Halloween special, we can do House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, that works.
That'd be coming up soon, won't it?
Soonish.
Yeah. We've got your birthday episode to get through first. Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Anyway,
Rat
Queens,
Rat
Volume
Queens.
1, Sass and Sorcery.
You were doing big claps like a little baby.
I was bringing the energy back up.
Okay. Yeah. So, this graphic novel, like Liam said, it's kind of like a D&D campaign, like, written as a graphic novel, but that D&D campaign is being played by... It's being DM'd by someone who has, like, a really good story and world building, but the players in that D&D campaign are just the absolute worst. Like, they are derailing the story in all the worst ways. But it's not, there is no actual, like, you don't see people. It's not a campaign. It is literally just the story of that world.
Yeah, it is like a fantasy story.
Yeah. So you're following Betty, Dee, Hannah, and Violet, who are a smidgen, which is a halfling.
Which is basically a halfling.
Yeah. So you've got a smidgen thief, Betty.
That's Betty.
You've got Dee, who is a high priestess of a tentacle god cult, who no longer is with the cult. You've got...
And she's atheist.
Yep, she's atheist. You've got Hannah, who is a magic user, like a wizard or a sorcerer, who's sort of the mean one, kind of, or at least the craziest one, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, Betty's pretty crazy, but Hannah's, like, fucked up crazy.
Yeah.
And then you've got Violet, who is this dwarven warrior who's like, all the others are kind of a bit of a mess. And Violet is clearly from, like, wealth and, like, a good family, but has gone off adventuring with the Rat Queens.
I did read that Violet's a bit of a hipster dwarf because she started shaving before it became popular.
Yeah, later on in this book, she's sitting with someone and says that she's looking at other dwarf women, and she's like, yeah, I invented having a shaved face. I should grow mine back. I'm hotter with a beard anyway. Yeah. Which is just great. Because I love that. Yeah. I love that in fantasy lore sometimes dwarven women have beards, and it's just like, yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got Gimli talking about
Exactly. But yeah, so you this story in this graphic novel is the Rat Queens have basically all the adventuring parties. These groups are like 4 adventurers are all living. There's like 5 of them, I think, in the city, and they're just causing untold trouble for the city. Like, they go off and do these quests, but then they come back, and with all their gold, they have outrageous parties, trash the city, and just cause mayhem, and everyone hates them.
Yeah, basically.
So you start with the town basically trying to, like, figure out how to get rid of the adventurers. Yeah. They're like, they shouldn't be here, all this stuff. Then I think immediately, the solution they have is to send all the adventurers out on these different missions. But
they're all like boring missions, like go and tidy up this place.
Well, it's like 4 of the missions are okay. Like, the Rat Queens get told to go and clear out goblins, which is like noob stuff.
It's alright, but it's like it's
newbie. It's below the Rat Queens. Then you've got the Peaches, who are told to raid like a bandit camp, The four Daves, who are one of my favourite parties in this.
Yeah,
which is
I love
literally
that.
just a team of four people called Dave. And
Yeah.
they have to differentiate themselves by calling themselves by their race. So it's like Orc Dave, Gnome Dave, Dwarf Dave. It's just great. They get told that they've got to go put down some like undead. Then you've got the Brother Ponies,
Yeah.
which is a fucking weird name. They've got to slay the one-armed ogre at Mulch Hill. And then Obsidian Darkness, who are like these elves who are all goth, get told they have to clean out a lavatory.
Yeah.
And just accept it. Everyone else is like, what? And they're just like, yeah, cool. Because they're too goth. They're just so goth.
Yeah.
It turns out that all these missions are a setup, maybe, because assassins appear to kill each party.
Oh, there are going to be spoilers.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We're spoiling
It's
this.
alright. We're still like what we're discussing so far is literally like issue 1 and volume 1. So
yeah.
we're not in spoiler territory yet, but we will get into spoiler territory.
Yeah. Basically, assassins come, they wipe out 2 of the parties. I think Brother Ponies and Grim Darkness or whatever get killed.
Yeah.
This is when like the first few scenes of proper gore in this comic book, where you realise that this is fucking gory. Like you literally see someone's face getting cut into 3 pieces.
Like this, I feel like when they were making this, they had like 2 different paths they could have gone down. They could have been like, let's go for the widest appeal possible, make it real family friendly, and it is just like your general like D&D in a graphic novel. Or we could do how D&D typically is when you have adults playing it, which is it gets super violent and drugs and sex and stuff get involved. Yeah. And that's the path they went down, and I'm so pleased they did.
Yeah, because it is literally you watch the Grim Darkness guys get murdered, and just this big full-page spread of an assassin and a guy on the floor with brains spilling out. And then the next page is the Rat Queens and Betty saying she's brought lunch and it's just candy, and then she's like, we should all do mushrooms.
Yeah.
So it is immediately like the graphic novel's like, this is what to expect. Really loads of violence and also drugs.
Drugs. I know it's sex as well.
Yeah. So the Rat Queens obviously defeat their assassin. They get a bit fucked up by it, but then a troll just crushes the assassin, and they have to then murder a troll.
Yeah. One of them gets their arm pretty badly damaged during that fight.
That is a horrible panel. Like,
yeah,
her arm gets fully snapped in half, and she's like, she says something like, am I overreacting, or should I be worried? I feel like it's very bad. And then someone else is like, yeah, don't look at it, and then heals her. But it's like, oh dear, this is it's a horrendous look. It is literally an arm snapped in half.
Yeah.
Then they get back to town, and the rest of the graphic novel is like them trying to unravel the mystery of who hired these assassins.
Yeah.
And you sort of know it's probably someone in the town because you've seen all these people that don't like them. You've got the captain of the guard, who is an ex-boyfriend of one of the Rat Queens, who's on their side in that he's trying to help them solve it, but he's got this whole mysterious thing going on where he knows one of the assassins, and the assassin like calls him by name. So there's like all these mysteries in this graphic novel that some of them are getting set up for later stuff, some of them are set up just for this comic book. But it's just so good. There's so much violence, so much drugs.
There is a lot of violence.
Like, it's amazing how quickly so many of the adventuring parties get killed. Because I was expecting, like, once they introduced, like, there's a bit of a rivalry between the leader of the Peaches and the leader of the Rat Queens. Like, they fucking hate each other and are just really bitchy around each other. And then the Peaches all get killed except the leader and Braga, this big half-orc woman.
Yeah.
Who is just a badass. And then, I think does it then get into, like, there's, like, a fucking war, basically? Oh, they do a bit of snooping around.
I actually, there's a really good bit where they're trying to figure out who's behind it all, and they go and talk to, I think, like the leader of like a merchants guild.
Yeah, I think he's the guy that's running the merchants in the city, basically.
Yeah, and they're conversing with him. It's Betty and and they're chatting with him, and there's a really good panel where it just shows like it's a page, and it shows all these different panels with this text around it. And it's things that are, like, in the room. So it will show, like, these scrolls, or it will show his hands, or, like, the window or something. And I first read that, and I was like, this is weird. And a couple of pages later, it's Betty talking about what all those things mean. And that's just, like, so well done, because it's things like, these scrolls were, like, still damp, so he must have, like, recently come off a voyage, and he doesn't have a wedding ring on, so... And there's, like, like a lighter colour where the band was, so that would have recently been taken up. And it's just little things like that, and like the window has like a trap sort of thing, so we can't get in that way. And it was just so smartly done.
Yeah, Betty is a fucking badass. She's just a proper D&D rogue. Like, this completely zany character that loves getting high and eating candy, but she's also a fucking genius thief.
Yeah.
And, like, this amazing observer. I also love the way she gets out of that conversation with him, where they're pretending they're making, like, a trade deal, and then Betty spots all this stuff, and then just immediately just like, cut your price in half. And the guy's like, but I haven't given a price. And she's like, oh, I know when someone's messing with me. Let's go, D. And the guy's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Betty might be my favourite character.
Betty is just fucking adorable and cool.
Yeah.
She's also in a long-term relationship that has recently ended with a human woman in town. Yeah. So that's cool. We've got a lesbian character immediately who's one of the main characters. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like a very like inclusive graphic novel.
It won awards for being from GLAAD for
yeah,
being,
that doesn't
like,
surprise
inclusive.
me.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like shoehorned in
No.
or preachy or.
Nope. It's just
feels...
some of these characters are lesbians, gay or bisexual or trans, and yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah,
Which is cool as shit. Yeah, and then like shit happens, and it's just cool as shit, and shit everywhere, and badass blood, and everyone's cool.
I really like the art in this, like, especially like the gore
cool.
scenes with the art, like the blood spray and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's really nicely done.
Yeah, I super love. I think if Betty's maybe your favorite character, I think Violet's my favorite character.
Yeah, that would make sense.
She's just like a badass swordswoman.
I think Violet's a close second for me.
I mean, it was specifically like the whole book. She's kind of not up herself, but she's like almost the honourable one in the party, because the party's like...
She feels like the leader.
No, Hannah's the leader.
Do you think?
Hannah's the leader. Violet's like the moral one.
Right.
Dee's like the nice healer who's trying to keep everyone together and just be like, hey, let's all be cool. And Betty's like the wild one.
Yeah.
Because that...
What did you think about... like, as we get into it, we find out that Dee... There's a party scene, and she's quite like...
Yeah, she's really like
what's
socially
the word?
awkward.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, a guy comes up to try and hit on her, and she's just like brushes him off, and then immediately regrets it, because she's trying to tell. She's like, "You love parties, you love drugs," and she's just sitting reading a book.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love Dee as well, because she is just. She seems
but
like
like
a real
that whole like social awkwardness thing. 'Cause there's like a couple of like other like party scenes, and I was looking back, and I was like, well, she doesn't seem socially awkward in those. So I was just a bit like, I wonder if that was like...
Yeah, well, the fact that she says like, "You love party," is it that she's been affected by the recent... Because that last party is after like Violet gets shot in the throat and nearly dies. Yeah. Like, and they have to use 2 healers healing her using all their magic just to get her to live.
Yeah.
Which is like one of my favourite scenes is Orc Dave from the Four Daves, who every time he casts healing magic, he gets a bluebird in his beard, which he describes as he's like, my dad told me they're magical bluebirds who live in my magical beard, which I just love. And then,
it's the sort of thing that like 100% like if you were in a D&D campaign and like a player was like, oh yeah, this is just one of the things that I want to do. You'd be like, yeah, okay,
when I
let's
cast
just go
magic,
with
can I
that.
have bluebirds appear in my beard? Yeah, sure. But
Yeah.
I love that him and Dee save Violet. Violet like comes back to life, and she's like, all I want to do is have a massive party, do lots of drugs, and have sex with Orc Dave, in no particular order. And then later on at the party, she's like, right, let's go have sex. And Orc Dave's like, do you want me to get rid of the bluebirds? And she's just like, did I say anything about the fucking bluebirds? Leave the bluebirds there. Like, what the fuck sex are they having? It's so
Freaky
good.
bluebird sex.
It's so good. It's just wild. Honestly, it's such a... it's not feel good, but I felt good reading it.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think it's because this does like tap into your sensibilities.
Yes. Ultra-violent fantasy. In a sort of grim, darkish world.
So like, yeah. So it's not feel good, but it's like exactly your cup of tea, essentially.
Yeah. I've got the same thing I had with the Lumberjanes, where I finished reading this, and I was like, fuck, I really want to read more of this, but I can't until we talk about it. So I have been sitting here for like 2 weeks now, or a week and a bit, because I read it like pretty much straight away after we finished our last episode, and I was like, fuck, I've done this too early. Now I have to just wait.
I don't think there's a lot more. I think they're up to like volume 6 or something, but I don't think there's a whole load more to go. So.
Very annoying. I'm going to catch up to that very quickly.
But no, I did like I said, all I knew about it was basically like a graphic novel of D&D.
Yeah.
That was how it was sold to me, so I bought it, and I wasn't expecting it to be as like adult and as violent and sex and drugs as it is, but I really liked that about it.
Yep.
Because it just has like a decent sense of humour that runs throughout it.
There's like running jokes of one of them is always trying, like I think it's Violet, she's trying to like say cool things whenever they kill people or have fights, and then at one point she's like bleeding out and she's like tries to say something cool and there's like, no, I have blood loss and I can't think of anything.
Yeah. And I think at one point, Violet does say something really cool and she comments on it. She was like, that was really cool.
Isn't that someone else that said... No, it's Braga, isn't it? Says something.
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
She? I can't.
Yeah,
she says something like super badass and Violet's like,
yes,
that's really cool.
Also, there's definitely like a hint that there's more to Violet to come.
Oh, yeah.
Her brother shows up and there's that,
her
like...
twin brother. And she's like stolen the family sword and like not on top form and her brother's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the cool thing that Braga says. Oh, this isn't the cool thing she says, but she does say at the end of the fight, she's talking to one of the Daves, not Orc Dave, and she says, "You're sexy when you're killing shit, Dave." And he says, "I think you take the sexy killing cake, Braga." Damn.
The cool thing that someone says down that was a good line is orcs only know one language, blood. I'm the fucking alphabet.
That's it. That is fucking cool.
One other thing that I really like is like a running joke. So the person that is behind all of the assassins and stuff is what's her name?
Well, you think it's her.
Yeah, but what they call her, like old lady something?
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Fuck yeah, old lady something.
Yeah, and she's constantly like, I'm 39.
And she's an elf as well, so she's like this ageless creature, but she's only 39.
Yeah. And I just love that running joke is
it is
old lady Bernadette.
Yeah,
that's it. And yeah, that's one of those jokes that I'm just like, it just works really well.
Yeah. This whole book is just good humour, good action, and there's like they've set up enough stuff that I'm hooked.
Oh, there's loads of directions this can now go in.
Like there's because all the characters have got, except maybe Betty so far, have got like something that you're like, ooh, this is like.
Well, Betty has the relationship.
Yeah, but that doesn't get resolved. But like at the end, in the
there's
party,
more to that. Like
there's definitely more to
history
it.
there that we don't see.
But
you've got Dee has the fact that she's an atheist, and there's the whole thing with her family that
and
gets mentioned
the fact
at one
that
point.
like when she left, her mum said it doesn't matter where you go, their like tentacle god will find you. And then she finds this
and the merchant.
The merchant is part of that cult. It looks like.
Yeah.
Then
what's Hannah's thing?
Hannah's is in that final fight. She's like out of magic. Violet's just been killed, and then her eyes go from glowing white, which is how she's been doing magic. They go pitch black, and she like murders loads of orcs in revenge, and like goes fucking insane. So there's clearly something there. Got and Violet's is the whole
stuff.
Yeah. So like they've all got stuff. Then there's the overarching plot of the Merchant Guild.
And sorry, the other thing you've got is it D with the leader of the captain?
No, that's Hannah as well. Yeah.
Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah, they have their relationship that they used to be in, and then what's going on with him? Like he used to be part of these fucking crazy assassins, and now he runs a city guard. So there's like all these fucking plots that I'm like, God, I want to know how all of these end.
And it also does feel like a very D&D thing, right? Where as a DM, you might set up all of these different like things that could branch off, but maybe won't. Yeah.
It is amazing how they've managed to make it effectively a D&D campaign without any of the like real world stuff. Because like there's even references at one point. Someone's like, "Oh, you should charm the troll that's killed the assassin." Someone says to Violet, "Oh, you should charm it," and then she's like, "I don't think my charm is going to work on this one." And I was like, "That's such a it's basically someone saying, can you make a persuasion check on the troll?" It's so fucking D&D without specifically coming out and saying this is D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so well written.
Yeah, I'd like to know like what like inspired this, like the background behind what got this started. Yeah, it might be worth looking into. Yeah, like again, I don't know because like I know with like The Walking Dead, for example, right? If you have like the single issues, they have a letters page at the back, and I wonder if you got the single issues of Rat Queens, if there'd be something like that would give you more of an insight into it.
Possibly, yeah.
I wish they included that kind of thing in the collected.
I get why they don't though, because it would be like a shitload of extra pages.
I get it, but if you're a fan of something, you're always going to want like
Yeah, that's true.
more.
Yeah.
Well, so you read this on Kindle, did you?
Yeah.
So in the back of the graphic novel, I don't know if you get this, they've got books that they're advertising. They're also from the line that did this. So this is
books by Curtis J. Weeb. You're bound to enjoy.
Yeah, and also other books in the Image Shadow line.
Yeah.
Stuff, and I was having a little look through those, and I was like, some of those do also look quite interesting.
There's one called Miniature Jesus.
Yeah, I was particularly drawn towards T-Runt.
Oh yeah, I mean that one is for all ages apparently.
Yeah,
and it's described as a charming tale to children and adults alike. And adults.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to read more of this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got the second volume downstairs because I bought both of them at the same time. This was like a year ago, and I hadn't read either of them.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be reading the second volume and most likely picking up more. The problem I have with graphic novels is if I don't read them all in quite a quick succession, I'm really bad at like remembering stuff. Like I've still got another volume of Lumberjanes to read, and I'm a bit like, oh, where did I get to with it? Like what happened last?
But you can use that as an excuse, Liam, to read.
I'm not going to reread it all. I kind of wish that in like collected volumes they did have just like a little page at the start that was like a previously on.
Some do. I've seen that.
Yeah. In the single issues of The Walking Dead, they do that.
Oh, do they?
They have like a little paragraph that was like last
Here's
time.
where we are, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm pleased you enjoyed this. I kind of thought you would.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was a pretty fair guess, like female-led D&D.
Has this made you want to play D&D more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything in my life at the moment is making me want to play more. I could do anything, and my brain goes, "We should play D&D."
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're just waiting, aren't we? Really, before we can get started.
Yeah. Well, you need to sort out what adventure we're doing.
Yeah. Everyone needs to create characters. Like I know you've already created a character and you've got like their entire backstory in your head and stuff, but everyone else needs to create characters as well.
Okay. Have you asked them?
Why am I meant to ask them?
Because you're the DM. Oh, listeners, can someone go back to our old episodes where I was DMing D&D, and can you track down all the times Liam told me what a dungeon master was meant to do, which I believe was
and then
organising everything, never letting any of your players
since you never did any of that.
Yes, I did. If you go back into We Play RPGs, I bet I'm the one that asks most times. I think once I forced you to do it. How dare you?
Well, I'm waiting for Tom and Frankie to settle into their new home.
So, Tom and Frankie, if you're listening to this, let us know.
Let us know when you want to play D&D. Ellie's waiting. Liam's just got to buy a book. I'm ready. I've got the player's handbook and the dungeon master guide and stuff downstairs. So, and I've got a little what do you call it?
DM screen.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
When did you get that?
I think I got it when I got the player books.
Oh, fair enough.
So I'm sure I have that somewhere. So yeah, I'm good to go. I think. Now I'm starting to second guess myself if I do still have that somewhere. I'm sure I do.
I mean, you don't super need it, but it'd be useful.
It'd be cool, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. That is like 50% of playing D&D as being like, this is cool.
But yeah, I want a smoke machine.
Oh god, you're gonna do like an entrance into the room.
Yeah, I'll get like a smoke machine and I'll put my my hue light and have it like a green sort of colour, and I have all the smoke around it, and then I'll just walk in. Wearing like a deer skull with these huge like branch antlers coming out.
When we played it here, not you, like when I played with a bunch of people from home and we played a couple of games.
Yeah.
The first time they came round, I had a DM cloak, which I probably still have floating around somewhere, which you can have for DMing if you want.
Fantastic.
I was like,
got to set the mood.
I've got to do this.
But I don't know how following a book goes. Like I don't know if the book just goes like here's the plot in great detail, or like I have no idea what sort of information these books are going to give.
Well, from what I understand, it will give you like encounters and stuff. So it'll be like, if they go here, this is what they'll face, and then it will give you some like options, and then it's it gives you the story in like bits and pieces. Yeah,
because I feel like even if we try and follow a book with the best of intentions, very quickly I imagine we'll go off book.
But that is part of doing the books.
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm most looking forward to.
You're not expecting to like follow everything in the book. It's sort of, I think it's like you're following the main plot points of the book, and then it gives you some stuff for like, oh, if your players do this thing, here's this.
Yeah.
But then you can also fit stuff in or do your own stuff and all that stuff. Like it's not like the moment your players do something else, the book's like, no, get them back.
Yeah. I just want to get our first session behind us so I can get a feel for what it's like to DM, and I can get a feel for what you all are like as players.
I'm just going to be a real good player. I'm not going to backseat DM you. I'm not going to be a rules lawyer.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to play particularly like we have to follow the rules.
Well, we need to
letter,
follow most of the rules,
but not to the letter.
No, there is a thing. I'm probably going to cut most of this D&D talk out. I don't know. There is. I've been watching like a load of videos about D&D.
Yeah,
obviously I have.
Of course.
But some of those are like DM ones because I just find them interesting, and because I think in my head I'm still like a DM / a player.
Yeah.
Because I'm still interested in DMing. I just really want to fucking play because I never have, and I love this game and have always just wanted to be a fucking player.
Yeah.
But like one of the guys was talking about there's rules as written, which is a term, so raw, which is there are people that are like, nope, the book fucking says this and this is exactly how it works. Then there's like rules as intended, which is like this clearly doesn't make sense. Like this, the way this is written, I could break the game by being like, I do this and this, and the rules say that I can do that, so we're done.
Like I think there's this thing called like a bag of holding or something where you can put an unlimited amount of things in it. And like one of the things I've seen people talk about is okay, so I just go to the ocean and put the ocean in it.
But I think it has a limited amount in a bag of holding.
Maybe I'm not thinking of a bag of holding. There is a thing that is like essentially you can put whatever you want inside it. Like there is no limit.
Yeah.
Which could be world breaking.
But no. See, but then what you do, Liam, is you punish the players. That's what you do as DM. You don't necessarily go, no, come on, you can't put all the ocean in there. You go, yeah, cool, you put the ocean in there. No, and now there's no fish, and everyone starts dying because a major food source has run out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's world breaking in that literally that would be like a cataclysmic event.
But yeah, like you need to follow the rules. So like you need to follow the rules of like combat and shit. Like you can't just be freeloading around. I'm saying this as someone that's going to play a spellcasting character because we're the ones that if we're not following the rules, will break the game. Do you know what I mean? So like, but I'm not saying like no, you've got to stick to all the rules. Like if something's there's what is it? There's like the something cool rule, which is if it's fucking cool, don't be like no, the rules don't allow this. If it's within reason and cool, like okay, we can figure that out. That's probably a whatever check.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be like, what's the word? I don't want to be like, oh, we have to follow these rules to letter. I just want to be like, okay, obviously we have to stick with some of the rules, like how initiation works and turn order and all that sort of stuff.
Words.
Initiative, that's it, not initiation.
No. Oh god, I feel bad.
Initiative. I was close, to be fair. But yeah, like initiative and like turn order and all that sort of thing. Like, yeah, we'll be following that. But if it's like, this spell has like a 20-foot radius, and it's like, well, we're not going to be like measuring out the map.
Are you going to have maps
to see if that works? I'm not doing maps.
No, I prefer in your head play, which is then like.
We had such a huge argument about this on a previous episode.
Yeah, probably. But then we've played without maps. That was how we played.
Yeah, it's the one that's called Liam Hates Maps with Lee Brady. When we had Lee on it, and you'd just done your first D&D thing, and you were so proud of this map that you built, and I spent ages moaning about it.
Yeah, that's probably why I was annoyed, because as a DM, when you put in effort and one of your players is like, oh, it's a bit of a waste of fucking time, you're like, well, cool, I just spent loads of time making something for you to enjoy.
Yeah, it didn't work.
So yeah, that's probably part of that.
Yeah, I'm not doing maps.
That's fine.
The only thing I'm not sure about at the moment, and I'm leaning towards no, is minifigs.
If you don't have a map, how would you use minifigs then?
Oh, it would just look cool, wouldn't it?
I don't know, right? I don't know whether to reveal something, Liam, that would make me seem a little bit too eager for D&D.
Have you got a minifig of your character?
Maybe.
So, I'm not doing maps, right? But what I will do is when it comes to combat, I will be drawing like a rough interpretation of the landscape you'll be fighting on.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. You'll know where the enemies are and where you are in relation to them.
Yeah.
So you could use minifigs.
Oh, I don't even particularly want to use my minifig. I just want it to exist so I can be like, I have a minifig for my character.
Fair enough. But yeah, I am very excited. I just want to get. I've never DM'd before, and I'm not a huge expert in D&D, so it's quite intimidating. Which is why I just want to get like the first few behind us to hopefully get me a bit more confidence in DMing.
I mean, honestly, like
I'm not good at planning,
but that's fine. Like a lot of the stuff,
a lot of the
stuff that you need to plan, right, isn't even stuff you need to really plan. Like stuff like the rules, right? You can be a DM and not know all of the rules because I'm not going to be a rules lawyer. But if someone's like, I'm prone, like I've been knocked over, and then you're like, what happens to range attacks? I can be like, oh, because they're prone, you get disadvantage on a range attack. Like that's not rules lawyering because I'm only going to do it if people want to know.
we'll be checking the rules.
Exactly. We'll have the books. It's
Yeah.
the stuff, that I guess you need to know is you'll need to have bought the book and read it because you'll need to know what's happening.
For the campaign?
Yeah. Not like the whole Dungeon Master's Guide, just like the rule book
Yeah.
for the campaign, the one that's like, here's what's happening.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I don't know if I want to play a D&D game where you're going like, yeah, you walk into an alley and ooh, wow.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? It's like, oh my god, can you? Okay. Well, let me.
Jeez, guys, I'm really
let me
sorry,
do some
but-
rolling.
There's a troll.
There's a few things like I've watched some of the videos as well, and there's a few things like I watched a really interesting one where they were talking about fudging their rolls if they ever fudge their rolls, and they were like, no, the best thing to do instead of fudging your roll is to just like come up with a creative solution. Like it all comes down to improv when it comes to that. Like if you've done a roll and you don't want that outcome to happen, you have to then improvise an alternative that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, it's the way the dice land is the way that, like, I've never fudged dice rolls because it felt cheap. Like,
have you got your own dice set?
have I what?
Got your own dice set?
I'm thinking of buying another one because my one thematically doesn't fit.
I'm like to get a nice DM one.
Yeah, I've got mine are bone with, not actual bone, but they're bone white with red numbers on them, which looks cool as shit.
Yeah.
All of this is getting cut. This is 20 minutes of content that we're cutting out of this episode.
I think our listeners would find it interesting, and I think it's the sort of thing that we'll pick up on in future episodes as we start playing.
Maybe.
So there is that. But yeah, I just want Tom and Frankie to get ready.
What did you think of Rat Queens? Out of 5?
4 out of 5.
I give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a 4 out of 5. I did super enjoy it. I'm curious to see where it goes next, but it wasn't like a Sunstone level of obsession and love. That's probably my favourite graphic novel of all time. So.
I think Sunstone probably still is my favourite graphic novel of all time as well, but this is a close second.
How does this compare to Lumberjanes for you?
I love Lumberjanes, but I think
I
I love this more than Lumberjanes, but I still...
Yeah. But you've also read more of Lumberjanes, whereas with this...
Yeah, true. This is like
it's maybe an unfair comparison. Yeah.
And I am a magpie. So this is shiny and new.
Yeah, that is true. Next time...
Yes?
It's going to be another super long episode, isn't it?
Good.
Is this episode going to get out before the next one?
Hopefully.
Okay.
But if not, listeners will just have to deal with the fact that we didn't read out their correspondence on it.
Or that they... Well, it's given them the chance to tell us what they thought of the thing.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying they might not have the chance to. We don't know. Still write us in and let us know what you think of the thing we're doing.
How's the
Captain
Marvel special?
Having a fucking time, Liam, because I've been editing. Like, I've recorded 2 nights recently, then been out all these fucking gigs, then also been editing in those other nights the episode. I've not had time.
It's hard.
I'm going to drop that episode at some point, and everyone's going to be like, this isn't relevant anymore. And I'll be like,
yes.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I think we just stop with specials.
No. We just need to, once everything's back to normal.
So next time, get ready, listeners. You'll be in for a treat. It will be a minimum of 3 hours, I can guarantee.
Yep.
We have Jason and Lee returning.
Friends of the show.
Yeah, you might remember last time they were both on together. We did X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yep.
This time, we're doing Godzilla King of Monsters.
Which is, we were on their show.
Yeah.
Doing, when we did...
Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, we did Kong Skull Island and Godzilla.
Yeah.
So this is like the sequel to the episode of their podcast where they're coming onto our podcast to do Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yeah. And we're going to, chat with them, catch up with them and find out what is going on with their podcast. So yeah, if you've seen Godzilla King of Monsters, let us know what you thought.
Yep.
I'm sure we're going to have a good time getting real deep into the nitty-gritty of it.
I genuinely enjoy having Jason and Leon, so I think we're going to have a good old time.
Yeah. And then you're going to have an even better time editing.
That's the bit I'm less looking forward to.
It's alright, it's just 4 audio
4 audio
streams.
tracks over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
But then we won't have a guest for a little while. You can have a little break.
Good.
Maybe have a holiday.
That's true. Maybe I might sort something out. Just pop off somewhere for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
you
Don't
know,
expect any new episodes during that time.
No, there will be. You'll be fucking editing them.
That doesn't sound accurate to me.
Mm.
No episodes. We'll just have a little break.
Nope. No, you've had your week off.
Break. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be doing the editing. Anyway, Liam, if people wanted to like let us know what they thought of Godzilla King of Monsters, how would they?
If this episode goes up in time,
Even then, how would they get in contact with us?
they could tweet us at nerdonnerd.
Oh,
They could email us, nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
email, fascinating.
They could Facebook us, facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod.
Don't bother, Liam doesn't update it. The guy that runs the
Oh,
social
actually,
media.
I did.
Well, then why did I get a
did.
notification today saying no one's heard from us for a while?
They happen all the time. I literally updated it. When did the last episode go up?
Like this week sometime?
Wednesday, Thursday? That's when I last updated it.
Alright, okay. I'll let you off.
Yeah. Now, if you'd have said that before last episode, you'd been right. I hadn't have updated it in about 6 months.
Because I think you told me that.
Yeah, but I remembered to do it for the Becky episode.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, so stick that in your pipe and smoke it. You can leave a comment on a YouTube video. They're starting to become more relevant now.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Liam's
They
nearly
are
there.
within the last year.
It's wild.
Maybe, actually, we're up to... I'm about to do the Halloween special from last year.
Oh, so if you love Halloween, and you especially love having Halloween in sort of June, that'll be up soon.
Yeah, that will be up. So yeah, you could leave a comment on a YouTube video and we'll read that out. Or you could rate and review us on iTunes. If you want to give us a 5-star rating, that's good. If you want to give us a review, that would also be nice. It helps other people find our show and helps them know what they're getting into.
So lie to them in the review and say it's all very short, concise, and lovely.
Just say it's nice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just say it's a good show.
This is a good show.
This is a good show, 5 stars.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that listener that does that.
Any final thoughts?
I've been ambushed slightly. Usually I'm either prepared for it or sometimes I'm not. When I'm not, I just freeze.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened this time. I thought you might have a final thought about Mac Queens or something.
It's real good. I'd fuck a smidget.
Bye!
Bye!